It's just because it doesn't say. Usually it says you're recording on Discord, and it doesn't for some reason. But regardless. Okay. So, last session, after finishing up your business at the Theathus, you all made for the Menair Bell, which you discovered to be a casino. You headed inside and were met by countless card and dice tables. Grimsby and Orthan, you both played a little 38 special. Grimsby, you made your best and least honest effort to trick Orthan out of his winnings, but you didn't quite succeed, and threw in the towel. After all this, you all left for Candlehearth Hall to clean yourselves up for a night of gambling and revelry. And in the square outside, you met a young, rather distressed-looking Ashaporian boy named Juniper. He was timid and skittish, but you managed to get him to open up, and he told you a little about why he was so upset. Apparently his brother, Leander, has been acting strangely of late. He's been cold, distant, and a couple of nights ago Juniper woke with Leander standing over him, giving him quite a fright. You asked if there's anything you could all do, suggesting you could come to speak to his parents, or Leander himself the next morning, and while Juniper seemed relieved at this suggestion, he did mention that his father wasn't fond of visitors of late. Nonetheless, you all agreed amongst yourselves that you would go to the Opal Palace to see his father the next morning. After your conversation with Juniper, you all got ready for your night on the town. Bryn, you went to a nearby salon and found yourself some magical hair extensions. And then, with all of you scrubbed up and ready to go, you headed back to the Menair Bell. Reaching the casino, you noticed the presence of a man who had been there earlier. A tall, well-built man with thick horns curling back from his head, as well as a couple other of well-to-do looking figures. Bryn and Grimsby, you made your way over to one of the dice tables, where a well-dressed elven man was playing in a game of Crown and Anchor. Bryn, you welcomed the opportunity to ingratiate yourself with this man to try and find out a little more about the town. And as it turned out, he is Barovar Still, one of the members of the Council of Ten, and one of the investors in the Menair Bell, no less. Without too much difficulty, you got him talking a little bit about the council and about the strife between the Ashaporians and the native population of Menair Bay. He has no qualms with the Ashaporians himself, or so he says anyway, but he seems to have a dislike for Ozarael, one of his fellow council members. In the meantime, Grubbs and Orthan, you confronted Eurus in one of the booths. Casting Zone of Truth, Grubbs tried to determine what exactly has been going on with the tiefling, only to be told what he already knew, that Bryn and Eurus had been getting closer of late. After this, the party finally reconvened and joined in with Ozarael in a few games of Thospor's Wheel, some of you meeting with better luck than others. You found out a little more about the city and its political landscape from him, and discovered that Leander and Juniper's father is no other than the Lord of Menair Bay himself. And it is here we pick up, with the party all with Ozarael at the Eye of Thospor table. And I will once again send the document with all the gambling rules, etc., to the group chat for your perusal. Here we are. So, what would you all like to do?
I do not know.
If I recall correctly, like one of the last things he said was just kind of looking at us and being like, I like your style. And yeah, if that's the case, Bryn will just kind of give a little shrug and smile and look among the group and say, well, I think that I've been about as lucky as I will be tonight. So, anybody else care for a game? Well, actually, I don't even know if she was playing a game last time, but she's just like, well, I'm not going to play again, I don't think. But anybody else?
Grimsby is content with his winnings as well.
Yes, he's fine.
Sure.
Yep.
All right. At that, Ozarael gives you all a nod and says, fair enough. And he looks around for a bit and says, I'm not quite done yet, but I think I'm tired of Thospor's Wheel for now. And he gets up off the little stool that his big hulking body had been hunched over, and he stretches, and you can hear kind of his back crack a little. And then he looks around, finds a card table that seems to appeal to him, and with a little nod at you all, starts making his way in that direction. So, do you guys want to look around more, or are you all done at the Menere Bell for this evening?
Grimsby will be done personally.
Okay.
Yeah, same with Farron, I think.
Gubbs will go with the flow.
Yeah, Bryn's kind of finished for the night.
Sure. Okay. So, you all gather your things together and make to leave. Stepping outside, it's a sort of getting on in the evening now a bit more. There's a cool breeze outside. It's getting darker. You can hear, as you walk outside, music drifting from the first floor of the Menere Bell, and the sound of chatter and laughing from inside as people gamble the night away. All right. Are you all just going to head back to the inn? What are you all doing?
I think Bryn will start taking note of some of the things she's learned today about the council members. So she'll just get out a little notebook and start scribbling away in that, just putting bullet points.
Sure.
Grimsby might sidle up to her and also sort of discuss all the things they've learned about the various nobles, and sort of share the knowledge.
Sure.
Nice.
Is this back at the inn, or are you doing this on your way there?
Maybe on the walk back?
Sure.
Yeah, I
just
think it'll be
depends
on the
whenever Bryn
walk.
starts.
She's impatient.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. Do you want to roleplay that conversation out? Or?
Up to you, Finn.
Yeah, I mean, he'll just sort of come over and be like, Lord Jaman Huprit seems to be the father of that child we met yesterday, or today even.
Yes, I've got that down. So the child's name was, again, what was it? It was a fruit of some kind?
There was Juniper, but I think that might have been the brother. And the child was called Leonor or something like that. I forget children's names.
I think... I'm just going to put them both down and say weird. What else is there? So, Baravar doesn't seem to like Ozerail.
No, he says he's flippant or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And Brocken Seatide is a prick. Seems to be the overwhelming consensus. We're yet to meet him, though.
Yes. Amphir and Saluma are both from Ashapor. I can't remember who they are, but I noted that down.
Okay, right. I'll put that down too. Yes, I think getting an idea of the council members, just all of them in general, will be helpful.
Yes.
But perhaps Eurus knows some of them since, Ashaporians.
Yes, we could ask him for some advice as well. And then there's a man called Ilifir, who's the chairman of the Artist Guild.
Ah, yes. Okay. Right. Ilithir. Right. What else is there to think of? Is that it?
That's all I've got. I was busy focusing on other things.
Is there... Oh, there was some small things that are not as politically related. Like, I heard of... What was it? There was a word of a shipwreck, and there was... What else was there?
Oh, yes. There was a shipwreck. There's a wanted man, dead or alive.
Oh, yes. Who is the wanted man? Perhaps we'll find a poster.
Prendergast.
Trederi Prendergast. I wonder if any of this is all connected with what's also going on.
It could be. You know, things tend to usually be connected in some way or another.
We should be careful, though.
Yes, a smuggling ship was wrecked at Kelpie Cove. It's been looted already.
Looted already? That's a shame.
Yes, I know. I had some ideas, but hey-ho. And that seems to be about everything I've picked up.
Yes, most of the stuff that I've picked up is that there's just a lot of tensions.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Actually, there was one thing that I think we should maybe look into. If you recall, it's there was so along the wall there was it's an old wall. There was an archway, and in the archway was a tent, and the person wasn't there, but it's at the market, and perhaps, I don't know, if we go by there again, maybe we should see if we can spot that person. Maybe, I don't know, you know how it is, people who are on the streets tend to know things. They see more.
Alert. In
Yes.
tune. Yes, no, that sounds like a good idea. We can swing by there tomorrow morning, perhaps, whenever we deal with whatever we're dealing with tomorrow.
Yes, in fact, I have to go pick up my armor as well, so...
Oh, nice. So we'll be by the market anyway.
Yes. But yes, I think that's everything. Just got to keep good notes.
Wonderful.
Okay. So you kind of group your findings together as you're heading on your way back. As I say, it's quite a cool, pleasant evening. The streets are still quite busy at this hour, people bustling about. There seems to be a lot of traffic towards the Menare Bell in particular. But as you come to Candlehearth Hall and the Emerald Square next to it, you find it's a little bit quieter there. There aren't so many attractions for those looking for some nightlife. And yeah, before long, you've reached the hall. And you come inside. It's nice and warm inside. They must have the fire going upstairs, you think. And yeah, that's you back.
Nice. Grimsby will probably just go straight to bed. Oh wait, no he won't. He will call a small meeting if possible.
Sure. Okay.
Right, gang, how was everyone's gambling? Are we all addicted to it now?
Possibly.
Good to
I don't
hear.
think I shall be going back.
Grubs, I can see you being a big top winner. We can get you like one of those fancy hats and a cane. And goons that click their fingers next to you.
Well, I'm sure Orphan could be persuaded for Dwarven Ale to do that.
Well, what I wanted to talk about was our plans for tomorrow. Bryn suggested that we speak to a figure or as a person that she saw in the market yesterday or today. If that is the case and we do manage to speak to them, we might be able to find out some more information. But as it stands, we do have some information regarding that boy we met. We think he's the son of Lord Jaman Huprit. Which means if we do want to investigate his strange brother, we know where to go now. If that's what we want to do tomorrow.
I think the only issue I foresee is that it seems he doesn't care for visitors, right? He doesn't care for... I mean, who are we to just show up unannounced? The only person we have who has any real credentials of any kind that might interest the Lord is Eurus here. So there's that.
We think Eurus might be able to get us in.
Well, I can certainly try and, drop a couple of names. It might get us in.
I mean, really, all we want at this point is to find out more about what's going on with that boy's brother. And see if there's any real threat going on. Once we've confirmed that that's not the case, then we can decide more what to do.
Yes, it gives me a funny feeling that there's some kind of connection. Strange behavior, strange dreams, you know. I mean, I'm not saying he had strange dreams, but the strange behavior and strange dreams aren't too far afield from each other, so I could see there being some connection with
Yes.
you know what. But we need to figure out if that's the case. And even if so, what use is it to us? Is it actually any use to know?
It could just be that this boy's also suffering from strange dreams, which isn't really new for quite a few of us.
Yes.
What I would wonder is, do we want to do this before or after our little expedition tomorrow night?
I don't know.
On one case, we could get more information that could help us in our expedition. On the other hand, we might want to deal with more pressing matters first, and then see if we can help this boy after.
Well,
What does
if
everyone think?
Bryn is right and the two things are related, then getting more information can't be a bad thing. But on the other hand, you do make a good point, Grimsby. After all, meeting with the cultist is our main reason for being here.
However, that is in the evening, so we would have a whole day.
We do have the whole day. All right. How about then, Eurus, you do your Ashaporian magic and pull some strings and get an audience with Lord Jaman. Find out some more about this boy and his brother. I assume we will try and find our way in as well. Juniper did say, or Leorin, or Leon, or whatever his name is. I keep forgetting to write it down. He did say he has access to the palace.
That's
He also
true.
didn't seem too keen on showing us the secret ways in, though, and I do feel that doing this above board and via legal entry methods probably be for the better.
But what is our reason for going? That is the question, because we can't just show up and say that his son said that they're acting strangely and we're curious. Obviously that won't, if there is something bad or just secretive going on and the Lord is involved in some way, then that would surely just lead us nowhere, if not into trouble. You know me, I don't advocate for lying, but it might be good to have a cover story of some kind, or another reason to visit. Anyone have any ideas?
Maybe they have a pest problem.
Bryn opens her mouth and then closes it and just sits there and kind of goes, huh.
It is kind of foolproof.
Eurus gives you a look, Grimsby, and then looks to the rest of the party and says, well, does anyone else have any other ideas?
I'm looking through my spells, hold on.
Can we not be just a part of your entourage or friends, Eurus, or just some people in high places? Can't we just pretend to be somebody?
Well, yes,
important?
I suppose, if you think you can all... And he looks you over. His gaze sort of lingers on Orthan with his lack of shirt and unruly beard.
Orthan just kind of does a big snort. Like...
And then... and then he sort of glances at Farron as well with her slightly scruffier armor. And he says, well, if you can all manage to make yourselves look like part of a courtly entourage, then I can certainly try.
Aaron will kind of just give a sort of disgruntled, sort of sarcastic smile, and then I don't know. She'll try. Can she do her disguise spell and kind of see what he could look like?
Sure. So you want to
am I
cast?
better off leaving that again though until we get there?
Sure.
Because it lasts so long, doesn't it?
Yes. It lasts an hour, I believe.
Okay.
Disguise self.
Okay.
Are you casting it? I mean, you'll be going in the morning, so you've got a full night's rest to head there before anyway. Are you casting it now to just sort of like practice a disguise, or?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
So she'll whip something up.
Mhm.
I'm trying to imagine what that would be myself. What are the rest of you guys wearing? The more well dressed of us.
Apparently Grimsby's wearing like proper fancy outfit, but he'll probably just wear that tomorrow then as well if we're going to see fancy people.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh no, Bryn. No, you say what you say first, because Bryn will. It's not urgent what Bryn's going to say.
Okay. I was going to say like she'll keep like was it the red cloak you guys gave her in the last session?
Yes.
And she'll put like her hair in like a sort of half up, half down sort of style with like curls and like a little sort of like not a tiara but like a headband and just kind of jazz herself up a little bit more.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Bryn's going to look at her and say, "Well, would you like to perhaps, rather than just use magic, actually make this a reality? Because I was thinking of perhaps buying a new dress, something a little more my style. But this red one that I have here, if you would like it, it's you can have it, and we can do your hair and things. I know a few tricks."
Oh my god! Thank you so much. That would be amazing.
Yes, well, I can show you. I can show you the way if you follow my lead. I'm sure we'll be fine.
I am coming. I have no fashion sense. Well, forge ahead. I'm right behind you.
Bryn's like, hell yeah! I get to do makeup on somebody.
Eurus looks to you, Orthan, and Grubbs.
Orthan will take this opportunity to reply to his initial statement.
Mm-hmm.
And he will say, "I'll have you know, Mr. Fancy Shiny Shoes, I've been to many important political functions."
Yes. Anytime recently? In the past, say, 200 years?
Oh, I've been to more important functions with people more important than you. More times than you've been alive, I reckon. And I'll have you know that my dress sense is impeccable. I suppose you wouldn't recognize style or grace if you were to look at it. It's too far away from your own. You're too distracted by the shine of your shoes.
Yes, quite. Well, and he looks you over again and says, I don't suppose you have a shirt or really anything.
A shirt?
That's right.
What are you insinuating?
I'm not sure I'm insinuating so much as I am suggesting that you might want to,
if it's good enough
dress up a little more.
I am perfectly dressed.
Right.
I attended many noble audiences with fellow nobles with this very outfit, and they were always very impressed.
Yes. Well,
forgive me if I don't feel the need to lower my standards for you.
Listen, I've spent some time with the Ashaporians. I have some idea of what they appreciate aesthetically, shall we say. And I'm not quite sure that a burly, half-naked dwarf really does the trick. So...
a bunch of prudes, are they?
Yes, sure. Let's
That's
go
it.
with that. They're simply... Orthan, do you own such a thing as a shirt?
Maybe back in my old room.
Right, well, just try and wear one tomorrow morning. Yes.
I'm sure it'll be fine. They'll be so distracted by your shiny shoes. Are his shoes shiny?
No. They're made of not quite suede, but like a soft, like leathery material. Similar to suede, I suppose. He just sort of raises an eyebrow at you and says, "We'll stop for some shopping on the way." And then before you can reply, he turns to you, Grubs, and looks you over and says, "Oh, you might be all right. And he waves a hand, exotic enough for Ashporian taste, I suppose. We could stand to perhaps polish your shell a little bit."
Well, I polished it this night.
Well,
it should be okay. But I can summon my illusory toupee again. That should do.
No, that's all right, Grubs. We wouldn't want you to, waste useful magical resources. It's that's quite all right.
Okay.
Eurus looks at the two of you for a moment and then sighs heavily and says, "Well, it seems that we have something approaching a plan of action in that case. Are we heading there first thing? Well, second thing after a glances at Orthan. Trip to the shops, perhaps."
What do we need to go to the shops for?
Eurus doesn't reply.
Is everybody happy with this? Is this what we all agree on? Because as much as I like wearing a dress, if you think it would be better to do something else, then that's fine by me.
I'm down for it.
Might want to think of a fancier name, Ted, by the way. Or maybe just, I don't know, Grimsby's fine, I suppose, if we...
What, should I go for something like Brindalina?
That is not my name. I must think about that. Bryn is not particularly... doesn't sound very distinguished. But that's my decision. Eurus, will we need titles or anything like that? You know more than I do about the Ashaporians.
No, I shouldn't think so, not titles.
Good.
It's just a matter of appearances with them more than anything. Appearances and how you hold yourself. But they're not actually as big on titles over there as we are here. Here you'd do any favor for a lord and he gives you a little plot of land and a little sigil for your house, but over there it doesn't concern them quite so much.
Well then, that suits me quite well. So, that means that we all just need to have good manners. And Bryn will look at Orthin for this. And we must wear clothes.
Oh dear.
Well, you're fine, Grubs.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're in agreement that we're
Orthin,
perfectly well dressed.
Orthin, we will get you a shirt because I think you'll suit it very much. It's part of the fun. It's part of the fun to dress differently and, I mean, nobility works differently in different places, right? And you're a noble.
I am.
You wouldn't want to embarrass your family name by appearing foolish in front of the Ashaporians if they really do value shirts all that much.
It's an odd thing to value, I'd say.
Well, what can you do?
And I think there's something to be said for standing up for one's own values in the face of such prudism or ignorance. Perhaps I should... an upstanding gentleman such as myself, perhaps I should try and educate them on the true, the latest fashion trends. You know, this could be a very positive experience for them. Yes, as you say, they may be prudish and close-minded, but I think I've got an opportunity here to open their minds. They deserve that much, at least, eh?
Well, when you put it like that, and she'll just look at Curious and be like,
Make a persuasion check, Orthan.
Okay, I will. That is 10. No, he's got proficiency in this persuasion. 13.
Okay.
No.
Orthan,
Yeah.
Eurus turns and stares at you with a completely dead expression and says, Orthan, we're going to the shop tomorrow and we are leaving with something for you. So I would get used to the idea. All right?
Oh, I suppose I could do with a new pair of boots.
Orthan.
I doubt they'd be as shiny as yours, though.
Eurus sighs and rolls his eyes. And just says, well, you know what? I'm going to turn in early. We'll head to the shops first thing. They open early enough. So, yes. He gives you a last disdainful look, Orthan. What were you about to say, sorry, Farron?
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, Farron kind of gives him, like, a sympathetic smile and, like, pat on the shoulder. Like, it'll be okay. It won't be long.
Is this Orthan or Eurus?
Orthan.
He interprets that as her being on his side. Yeah.
Which is partly true.
You give her a little, like, you know, little pat back in return. That's what I was about to say on, like, the shoulder, but I don't know if you could reach. You could probably reach. Dwarves aren't that short.
She'll bend down if she needs to.
I am afraid I just need to be right back really quick. I need to just pop to the bathroom. I've had too much hot chocolate today. So, yes, I will be right back 1 second.
Okay.
I just think Orthan's just keyed into current fashion trends more than anyone else's.
it's just, yeah, I mean, it's perfect. It's going to be quite funny having that battle. It's like, Orthan, put on a shirt. No!
It's going to be like having an unruly toddler.
Roll initiative.
Oh god, I don't think anyone can contest with his strength though, so it would really just be very difficult.
No, what we need a barrel of grease.
Literally every single one of us needs to be there just to pin him down.
Oh man.
Just get them all greasy and then try and catch the greasy Orphan.
That seems like it would benefit Orthan more than the party. It's like the party is like, I know what we'll
You try and catch him, and he just fly out of your hands like soap, like if you squeeze a bar of soap.
Just imagine though if he like fell over, he would just slide like a bowling ball.
He'd be having a whale of a time. Distinguished noble Orphan.
Yeah, Orthan's just like, have you not heard of my family name as he slides across the floor?
I am from a very important family.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I do wonder if and what rules will need to be made in this shop.
I am also intrigued. But I'm going to assume that Bryn's not going to be there because she will be in a different shop.
That gif is amazing.
I can't. I'm a bit concerned, and I can't quite tell if they were actually wearing any clothes or not. But I'm not sure I want to know.
He's definitely wearing shoes, so they got that, I guess.
Is he in like one of those suits? I hope so.
I really don't know if I want to look too closely, to be honest.
Classic Germany.
Oh goodness, I need to go to the bathroom as well. I just had like a huge cup of tea. I'll be right back.
I mean, those are...
Fair enough.
That's like German clothes, right?
What, no clothes?
No, the other people are wearing. Looks
Yeah,
kind of German.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are lederhosens right there. This must be in some beer hall or something. This makes sense. This will be Bavaria probably too, because lederhosens and like this sort of thing is more common from where Tim is, like, originally from. Oh wow.
Looking up
That's awesome.
total on Google
Oh,
Images.
thank you, Finn.
No.
I was thinking of it. I was also thinking of the bit where he comes out of the couch naked.
They're fighting. Orphan doing a stealth mission.
I gotta say, if Orthin can do the worm, 100% he'll go up like
It's the dance of
quite a
his
bit in
people.
Bryn's books.
It's how they navigate those narrow caves.
Arthur could probably do the robot.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Doesn't know what a robot is.
That's the dance of Swiftfoot's people.
No, Swiftfoot does backspins on his show. Not Swiftfoot, sorry.
Alright, I will be back in a moment as well, because I think Zara is about to return, and I need to
Oh,
go to the
bastard.
same room. So
Yeah, you can't pee together. Not
What
at the
have
same
I
time.
come back to in this group chat? What the fuck is going on?
I'll be back in a minute as well then.
I hate this.
I kind of
I
love it.
No! I don't want to see it.
This was Orphan's method of
Slimy.
avoiding having to wear a shirt. Just for context. Not that it helps.
Flawless
Actually-
plan.
Yeah, like he just needs to shave all his hair off and cover himself in I don't know what, like, well, grease. That's his, I
Whale
think that's his aim.
Oh no. I hate it.
Actually, I have a thing that Bryn's going to do relating to Orthan's hair in a minute.
Interesting.
It's not that interesting. It's just she's still salty.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Gosh, everyone's going to loo. Right, I'm going to loo. I need to be part of this.
No worries. Fear of missing out.
I'm worried I'm gonna have to keep going to the bathroom because, like yourself, I just had like a massive like mug of tea, and it's working its way through me fast. So I might have to forget in a few minutes.
That's all right.
You broke the seal.
A classic mistake.
Classic mistake. Did you see that the musician Sophie died?
No, I did not.
She passed away last night, apparently.
Oh, no.
How old was she?
Only 34. Apparently, it was a sudden accident.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was from Glasgow.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. She was one of my favourite artists. I'm just like, it's just
Aw.
weird. It's very sudden.
That's a shame. It's a shame, especially when it happens that suddenly and that young.
I know.
It's a shame regardless.
She produced for Madonna before.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was very good. Yeah, it's very strange. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the mood down.
No, it's fine.
I think I will listen to a lot of her music tonight after this.
This
What are
music
your...
is such a vibe. Sorry.
Pardon?
No, I
No,
was just
carry
saying
on.
that this music is such a vibe.
I know. I'm a fan. I was listening to do you know Joanna Newsom?
I do not.
I don't either.
My
He's a,
music taste is like two people. It's,
I think you'd like Joanna Newsom, Zara. She's like a harp player. She's married to
Ooh.
the main guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
oh, really?
Yeah, the one who looks like an old Michael Cera. I always forget his name.
Jay? Well, that's not the actor's name. I can't remember it. Adam Samberg.
Oh, Andy Samberg.
Andy
Yeah.
Samberg, not Adam. I was close.
You were close. Better than I could do. But yeah, no, she's married to him.
Oh.
The music's amazing, and it has a very sort of fantasy vibe because it's all played on
Ooh.
the harp.
I do like the harp.
Yeah,
It's a nice
I can
instrument.
send some if you like of her songs.
Oh, yes,
I
please.
think you-
Yeah.
She's
Right, I'm back.
amazing imagery
Oh!
as well. Welcome back.
Sorry, I
Hello.
dropped something and startled myself.
That's all right.
There we go. Oh, got it.
Last night, Lindsay and I went to bed, and at one point my stomach rumbled, and it gave me a fright. So I understand.
Your own stomach.
Yes.
Oh man, that's
I've been very
funny,
jumpy
actually.
lately.
Spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Stomach.
Lindsay, are you back yet? I thought I saw your. Oh, it's just when we talk, I think. Because Mike must be picking it up. Hmm.
What time does the session finish at?
We'll be finishing around 4. Knowing us, it might end a little later, but not
Okey
much later. Like maybe like half 4 at the latest, I'd say.
Okie dokie.
Okay. While we're waiting for Lindsay, we'll just I don't know. Is everyone just heading to bed right now, or?
Well, Bryn has a proposition, but it's better if Lindsay's here for it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
It's a very small, petty thing, but she would. She
Sure.
would do it.
Grimsby will turn the rat back into a rat instead of a spider.
Okay, doke.
since he has so much money, he can just do what he likes.
We love that for him. 1,000 gold. Disgusting.
1,000 gold coins.
Yeah, I've started like taking notes and everything like
Mhm.
a lot more, and it's I don't even know if I've got half the names spelled correctly of places and people.
If you need
It's
to know
okay.
any, just because it is there are quite weird names a lot of the time.
I've kind of just like spelled them like as they sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably so wrong.
I am pretty sure I misspell every character and place and thing name from D&D ever, including in my own campaign, to be honest. I even changed how you spell the name of a continent. That's a big one.
I like to think my spelling within my own campaign is mostly consistent, but things like environment details are not. I just forget all the time. Are you all in the lounge part of the inn, by the way? Or are you in one of the rooms? Just so I know.
That's kind of what I had in my head, but I don't know what everyone else was thinking.
I feel like-
the lounge.
I think the lounge.
Lounge, yeah.
I think at this point, Bryn would have a glass of wine in her hand as well. So how much would that set her back?
As well.
Probably like 7 silver, I would say, for a glass of wine.
Nice.
So yeah, you just mark that off, whoever's having a drink. The bard is here again, that was there the other night, the one that you spoke to, Farron. When you entered the lounge earlier, they seemed to recognize you and gave you a little nod as they're playing on their flute.
Okay.
Or their panpipes, I should say, not flute.
She'll kind of just give him like a sort of like a nod and a smile. She's awkward. She doesn't really know what to say or do.
That's
And
fine.
she's like myself. She's kind of like too scared to talk to people. Well, not too scared to talk to people, but like, yeah, she just feels awkward, and she's like she wants to talk to him later, but yeah, she'll stick with the group for now.
That's fine. At the moment, you see that there are like a few people in the inn sitting at their own tables, having a few quiet drinks, and the bard seems quite busy just performing for everyone. And they don't seem to actively want to engage you in conversation right now. Anyway, they just sort of give you a little passing nod while they're playing away.
Good. Leave me alone, sir. I will just vibe to your sweet music.
I'm just popping myself on mute for a second while I type a response to a question, so my keys don't clatter so much. So just give me 1 second.
Okay. Clattering keys is like D&D ASMR for me now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Don't forget rolling of dice. That's a good one as well.
Yeah, we were testing out my dice, me and Tim again, to try and figure out which one's the lucky one. And it does seem that the black and green is just cursed. Like, the others are fine, but the black and green is just like, it'll roll like 4 3s in a row. And I'm like, Tim, is it the way you're rolling it, or what is it with this dice? It's the one, though, that Lindsay used to borrow when he was playing Orphan, and he got that nat 1 that one time when he was trying to pull his axe out the wall, and I've just, ever since, I've been like, this dice is cursed.
I think Lindsay cursed it.
Oh, man. Yeah, actually, maybe. It's fine, though, because I don't really use it I've got the others. Oh, I just wasted my nat 20. I shouldn't have done that.
No.
No.
I haven't rolled anything today. I feel like rolling something. What can I roll? I'm going to do a history roll, and Grubbs is just going to reminisce about the past. 15, that's not bad. He remembers some things.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, hello. Sorry about that. Back now. Yes. So you're all sat in the lounge of the Candle Hearth Hall. Yeah. What are you guys doing? Is there any conversation you want to act out before you all retire for the evening, or are you all just going to? Yeah.
Bryn's gonna get out that hairy comb that Orson gave her back, and she's just going to look at him, narrow her eyes a little bit, and then look about the table and say, right, I will give one gold piece to anybody who is willing to pick all the hairs out of this comb for me, because I need it for tomorrow. And I don't want to do it. Anyone?
I'll do
it. Well, okay, Farron. If you're sure, then she'll give Farron a gold piece as promised.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Eurus looks at you, Farron, and just says, Farron, if you were that short on money, you could have just asked one of us.
I'm a grafter. I've had to survive for a living. She kind of happily just starts like the job, quite content with herself. Not grossed out at all.
Bryn looks at her almost in a slight, like, she's like both mixture of like horrified that she's so chill with it, but also like impressed.
Eurus kind of makes a face and folds out a napkin for you to put it all on so it doesn't get on the table.
She'll sort of like smell gratefully and then just like look back to the comb. So easily amused.
Well, was there anything else anyone wanted to play out? Or are you just gonna kind of chill and then retire eventually?
Grubbs is pretty much already falling asleep in an armchair somewhere.
Sure. Okay. So you all kind of relax for a little while, but before too long, begin to make your way through to your rooms. And you all settle in for a night's rest. So yeah, you all benefit from a long rest. If you spent any spell slots, you get them back. And you wake up the next morning on the 26th of Redfall to a fine day. It's quite a mild day, not as cold as you might expect for such a late day in autumn, but perhaps it's just being by the coast, it's that bit more mild. You wake up and you can smell cooking food. It smells like there are sausages on the go somewhere. There's a smell of grilled mushrooms as well, sort of drifting from the kitchen into your rooms. And the day is yours. It is about well, what time do you all think you would have head to bed? Like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
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 So it's about like 7 in the morning, and you all wake up.
Bryn will knock on Farron and Grimsby's door and be like, "Right, Farron."
She'll reply really groggily, like, "Yeah, I'm just coming." And she'll get up and get to the door and come and greet you with her hair in a complete mess. A disaster area.
Bryn will just nod and go, "Well, I think I can still work with this.
You sure?
Yes, but we'll have to buy some, let me think, just some things like ribbons and stuff. I think we'll have, I don't think I have any apart from maybe the ones that were already in my hair when I had it done yesterday." She'll peek over to see if Grimsby's awake. "Are you awake there,
Yes,
Grimsby?"
Grimsby will already be up and getting ready. He'll be in a fancy sort of human disguise.
She'll nod and go, "Nice, nice." Any peep
nod.
from Orthin and Grubs yet?
Grubs would be up and about.
And she'll say good morning to him.
Morning, Bryn.
Good morning. Are you wanting to go shopping with us today?
I will accompany you, yes.
Oh, lovely.
Maybe I can get a tie or something to look more formal.
Lovely. I think that would be very nice. Please help us convince Orthin to wear a shirt, if you can. He's...
Yes, that could be a tricky one. But I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. And then that's what she'll do. She's just rounding everybody up.
Okay. Eurus has risen as well. He's dressed in quite fine satin type clothes, in quite a deep red color that you've not seen him wear before. If anyone did ask him, he would basically just say that this is quite fashionable in Ashapur, so he's making the most of this part of his wardrobe. But yes, once you're all gathered, Eurus looks around and says, "Well, I suppose we should get some breakfast and he looks at Orthin, deal with our chores."
Sounds good. Let's get going.
Yes.
To the marketplace first.
Yeah.
What was that? Sorry, Grimsby?
To the marketplace first, is it?
For the... What is it you're going to marketplace for again?
Bryn's Armour.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
And we might speak to someone in a tent.
Okay.
So
I think the armor place was... Yeah, it was quite near the market. I don't think it was right by there, but it was... I can't quite remember. It was near the buildings around the Theotus, I think. So yeah, it's quite near the market. You can all certainly head in that direction. Are you grabbing breakfast at the inn first?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Orphan will say, "I think I might go get some breakfast from the stall in the market. No need to come with me. I know the way."
Oh, I'll come with you, Orthin. That's yours.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll bring you something back if you like.
No, that's all right. We've got a stop to make anyway, don't we?
Oh, you know what? I think I need a little sit down first. Maybe I'll just have breakfast here.
All right.
Everything all right, Orphan? You seem a little more uncertain than usual.
Oh, yeah, yes. I'm just, I'm just. It's been a while since I've had a nobility meeting. I'm just, getting in the zone.
Fair enough. I don't have much experience with nobility myself. My valley didn't really have much of that
It's
hierarchy.
not for everyone.
I had occasional meetings with the mayor of the human town and my own town leader, and I think I spoke with the dwarf leader once or twice, but it always seemed very informal.
Okay, so you all order your breakfast and what have you. The innkeep just puts it on your tab. There's all sorts of things on offer. There's some kind of like continental breakfasts, although the pastries maybe aren't quite as fresh as you'd hope. But the cooked breakfast is nice. There are grilled tomatoes, grilled mushrooms. There's cooked meats and egg. So you all manage to make quite a decent meal of things. There's some fresh fruit as well for those of you who don't partake in meat. Yeah, you all grab some grub and you are ready to go. So, you all head out. Again, already, it seems that this town never really stops. It's quite busy as you head out into the streets, people bustling about, getting to work and what have you. But you all begin to make your way down to the market. Not all of the stalls are set up for the day, but most of them are. The meat and mash stall appears to be open already, perhaps providing a slightly less healthy breakfast option to people who want that. And you do, in fact, notice, as you look around, that the little tent does have someone in it at the moment. Let me just find the appropriate document. What is it called? Okay. Yes, so in the southernmost archway of the wall, there's this little tent. Again, it's basically just a canvas sheet that's been propped up on some wooden poles. Not very fancy at all. Looks like it might all fall to pieces if the wind hits a little too strongly. But you see a woman sat there in the shadow of the wall, her back to the stone. She is a tiefling woman. She's a dusky pink color. And looking at her, you can see that she has cloven hooves and dark horns that twist back from her face. She has white tattoos that curl around her arms and throat, and then are obscured by flowing navy blue robes. If you draw closer still, you can see that she has golden rings on her horns, and wrapped around them she also has a string of tiny golden bells that tinkle whenever she moves her head. In front of her, a blanket is stretched out, with a selection of curious items spread across it. There is a small lacquered bowl, a square of red cloth with a small pile of bones, shells, and smooth stones in the middle. And then on the ground next to her, there's a small little teapot that's sitting in a wooden frame above a glowing candle, and a few cups are stacked next to it, a few empty china cups. As you approach, she looks up at you all and gives you a smile. And without getting up, gestures to the blanket in front of her and says, "Care for a reading? First one's for free."
Oh. Are you usually accurate, would you say?
Well, I've certainly been told so.
Does it involve
Gonna-
tea?
That is one way, yes.
Yes, I'll take part.
Oh, all right. She looks at you, Grimsby, since you showed interests, and raises a brow at you.
Yes, I'll join in, but let's let Grubs have a go first.
All right. Well, take a seat. And the tiefling gestures again to the blanket, Grubs, and she sort of smooths it down a little for you to sit down.
Grubs will sit down and smile at her. Hello, I'm Grubs.
Hello. She holds out a hand to you and says, "My name is Careful. It's good to meet you, Grubs."
Did you say careful?
Careful. Like the word careful. And she reaches out and she shakes your hand. She's got quite a firm grip and her palms feel quite rough. And then she reaches for the little teapot next to her and for one of the cups, which she puts down. And she fills it for you and passes it over. And says, "Well, there you are. Just be careful not to swallow any of the tea leaves."
Oh, yes, I'll try not to. Thank you. And Grubs will drink the tea. How does the tea rank?
It's quite good. It's not the best you've had, but it seems like she gets good quality tea from a good quality place.
So maybe 3.5, 4 stars?
Yeah, probably like 3.5, I'd say.
Okay.
Okay. So, you drink the tea. Could you roll a d20 for me, please?
Yes. I got an 18.
An 18. Okay. Once you're done with the tea, she reaches forward and takes the cup in her hands and holds it up. And she looks down into it at the tea leaves. You see her frowning a little to herself and then nodding. Interesting. She pops the cup down and says, "It seems that there is a storm approaching. A powerful one, by the looks of things." She traces a finger around the brim of the cup and looks up at you and squints at you a little and tilts her head to one side. She says, "Something has brought you here, I think. Someone, perhaps? I feel a powerful call, a summoning."
Oh. Interesting.
"But you should be careful whose summons you listen to. You wouldn't want to beat yourselves on the rocks." She looks down at the tea leaves again and says, "I would be careful in these times to not let your guard down. In a storm as fierce as this one, you'll want to keep an eye out for the lighthouse." And then with that, she takes the cup in hand and with a brisk flick of her wrist, empties out the wet tea leaves onto the ground and gives you a little smile.
Fascinating, thank you. How much do I owe you?
Oh, no, as I said, the first telling is free.
Is that first cup of tea a day, or just the first telling?
Your first telling.
Oh. I see, thank you.
That's all right.
Anybody else want a shot? It's quite good tea.
I'll give it a shot. What other methods do you use?
I do palm reading. I also do bloodletting. And at that, she gestures to the lacquered bowl. And I also... And she gestures to the pile of bones in the center of the blanket and says, I do bone throwing as well.
Hmm. And which of these methods do you find most effective?
I would say bloodletting is the most potent.
He tilts his head a little bit. Are you sure that won't draw attention from anyone else who sees you cutting my hand in the middle of the street?
Oh, no. I've been here a long time. People are used to me.
Sure, why not?
Okay. She reaches out for your hand. And holds you firmly by the wrist with one hand. And then with the other, she reaches for a small dagger. It's made of what looks like obsidian or something like that. It's quite a dark, shiny material. And in one brief slash, she makes an incision on your palm. You take 1 slashing damage.
Owie.
And she holds your hand out over the bowl and squeezes. And before too long, a few drops of blood have spilled, filling this little bowl, which she puts down, and then she reaches for some bandage, which she wraps around your hand and ties, before looking down at the bowl. She holds it in her hands for a moment and closes her eyes. And you can see her lips moving in a some sort of incantation. And then in one swift movement, she brings the bowl up and drinks it.
It's a face.
Sorry?
Grimsby makes a face.
She keeps her eyes closed for a moment, and you can see her brow furrowed. And when her eyes open, she looks at you with a curious expression on her face. She looks around at the rest of the group briefly before her gaze returns to you, Grimsby. And she tilts her head a little and says, "You're not quite like the others." She leans back against the wall, puts the cup down, and says, "You give with one hand and you take with the other. That's a way of losing an arm sometimes." She sort of glances down at the knife, puts it on top of the bowl. This call that I mentioned, this call I felt from your group, I feel it more strongly with you than the rest. There's a purpose there. But your way is perilous. Not everyone is as they seem. You should keep your eyes open.
Thank you. And then he sort of wipes his hand on the back of his other hand and then gets up. And he'll give her a gold coin.
Oh, thank you. She'll take that and she'll pocket it. And she gives you a wary sort of smile. And then wipes the back of her hand over her mouth.
He just makes brief eye contact as he gives her the coin and then turns back to the group and doesn't acknowledge her. Anybody else want one? They're quite fun.
I'll try it.
Nice.
All right. Please take a seat, won't you?
Okay.
Now, what can I do for you?
You say that blood biting is quite accurate. I think I'll try that.
All right. With that, she gets the little lacquer bowl and she pours just a tiny bit of water from the pot into it to spill it out. And then she wipes down the knife and reaches out for your hand.
Farm kind of nervously, her hand's kind of shaking a little bit. She kind of hand it over.
Careful gives you a little smile and just says, "You don't have to be afraid. It only nips a little."
That's what they all say.
She laughs a little at that and drags the knife over your palm. Again, you take 1 point of slashing damage.
Okay.
And yes, she does the same routine where she squeezes your hand, pours the blood into the bowl, and then takes it down in one gulp, closes her eyes, and for a moment seems to be lost in thought. Then her eyes flicker open again, and she smiles at you and says, "You are new, aren't you, to this group?" There's a... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, she'll kind of like look around the group and be like, kind of spooked and be like, yes.
There's a freshness to you, a keenness. You may find that on this journey, you will be blunted, tempered. She takes in a breath and seems to think again. And then she tilts her head at you and says, something else. A word of warning, perhaps? Greed is a poor man's compass. But I do see riches in your future, of one sort or another. Perhaps not the one you were seeking, but perhaps one that you have needed for a long time.
That could mean so many things.
Well, fate is never certain, per se. There are many branching threads. I can only try and gather them together in the way that I can best, but...
Farron will sort of smile, although she's still scared, she's kind of calmed by that sort of news. And then she kind of wipe her hand, like shake hers, and then let someone else have a go.
Okay. Careful looks over the rest of you and raises a brow with a small smile.
If no one else will, Bryn will step forward.
Okay. Again, she gestures for you to take a seat. And what will it be, my dear?
she'll take the bloodletting.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. She would have asked for a gold from you as well, Farron, for the
Okay.
bloodletting.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, Careful takes your hand, gives your wrist a little squeeze, and then draws the braid across. You take 1 slashing damage once more. And she drains your blood into the bowl and knocks it back. She frowns deeply as she puts the bowl down and blinks her eyes open to look at you, and says, "There is a pain in you that isn't in the others. An emptiness, an absence. You should be careful what you try to fill it with, this hole in you." She frowns again and puts the bowl down and says, "You too will be met with false friends along the road. People who are not as they claim to be."
Oh, for God's sakes, sorry.
That's okay.
Please continue.
That's all right. And met too, I think, by ghosts from the past. You should be careful that you don't let them possess you too strongly.
Interesting. Sorry, Tim buzzed himself in.
That's all right.
Is that everything?
She looks at you for a moment and then, for a second, glances at Eurus and then looks back to you and gives a small little smile. And after a moment, leans in and whispers something to you, which I will PM you.
Oh, okay. Secret. Oh, okay. And then she'll give a little smile.
With that, Careful smiles a little too. And she pulls back and says, "I think that is all I can read. All your fates are tangled and knotted. So many red threads coming together. It's hard to follow one to the end, but I sense that there is much yet in store for all of you. Bigger things than there are for most of the rest of us." As she's saying this, she gets another bandage and she wraps your hand up as she had with Grimsby and would have done with Farron also. And then she sort of pats the back of your hand and gives you a smile.
Bryn will bow her head, give her thanks, and give her a gold coin.
Okie doke. All right. Orthan, are you getting any readings done, or is that everyone?
Orthan will step forward as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
This seems
Sure thing.
fun.
All right.
This seems like a jolly old time.
Okay.
Plus, more time spent reading is less time going clothes shopping.
Careful gives you a smile, gestures for you to sit down, and says, "And what will it be?"
Let's see if you can tell me anything I hadn't figured out myself. You say the PAM is the bloodletting. That's the most accurate.
The most potent, yeah.
Well, put his hand across and say, "Let's see what you've got then, eh?"
All right. She repeats the routine again, dragging the knife across your palm. Again, 1 slashing damage.
Ooh.
At that, she hums a chuckle and says, "Sorry." Squeezes the blood into the bowl.
Didn't feel a thing.
And then she, after saying her incantation, drinks it.
That's good blood, eh? That's noble blood, that is.
If she hears you, she certainly doesn't respond. She seems far away as she's thinking, her brow creased. And then she opens her eyes and puts down the bowl. And says, "I see halls of stone arching and wide, miles long, full of cheer and familiar faces, and then not. You are not from here. And yet I feel you may yet return. Perhaps. Only there are pitfalls between home and here." She frowns again, a little deeper this time. Yes, there are snares laid before you. Snares hidden in the dirt. Lies couched in smiles and well-meaning gestures. Keep an eye open, my dwarven lord, and you may yet keep on the straight and narrow.
Lord.
You are, aren't you? From noble blood?
Well, yes, but the Lord is my father.
Perhaps it was.
Well, I suppose I shan't complain.
She gives a little smile and squeezes your hand and leans back again against the wall.
All right, well, that was informative.
When you get up, she holds her hand out for the payment.
Real good.
Okay. She looks to Eurus and raises a brow at him. But he sort of lifts a hand and shakes his head, declining. And just says to her, "I prefer surprises." And she smiles a little at that and inclines her head in a nod. And then to the rest of you, she says, "Well, if ever you want my services again, you know where to find me."
Orphan will just try and whisper to her and say, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's a real shoe shiner." If you know what I mean.
The next, sorry, 1 second. I have something written down somewhere, but I need to double check what it is.
Would Grubs have been able to overhear the shoe shiner comment?
Make a perception check.
Nat 20.
Oh, wow. Then yes.
In that case, can Grubs do an insight to see if she does know what Orphan means by real shoe shiner?
You're not sure that she does know what he means by shoe shiner. She looks down at Eurus's shoes and, they're not very shiny, so she just sort of smiles and gives a nod and says, I see. Okay, all of you, could you roll 2d20s for me?
Is that 2 overall across everyone, or everyone rolling 2?
Yes, everyone independently roll your own 2d20s and record each of the numbers rolled.
Oh, I rolled well.
So you roll it twice?
Yeah,
Do we
and
keep a
note
secret?
down each number. If you message me to let them know what they are, you don't have to tell anyone else.
Mine are in roll 20s, Aaron.
Okay.
I've messaged you on Discord. I'm sorry. It was
No,
too
that's
late.
Fine, that's perfect.
I've also done it through Discord.
Okay, so if you just note down each separate roll. Da-da-da-da. So until your next long rest, you have these foretelling rolls. You can replace any attack roll, saving throw, or ability check made by you or a creature that you can see with one of these foretelling rolls. You must choose to do so before the roll, and you can replace a roll in this way only once per turn. So it basically acts as portent, the wizard divination, the divination wizard feat, or trait.
Can I be a pain and ask you to repeat that? Because I completely
Yes,
missed it.
that's fine. I am just screenshotting it, in fact, for the group chat.
Well, now I hope we get into some combat.
I know.
Nice rolls.
Terrible rolls. I'll just give them to someone else.
Right, there we are. I popped it in the Nuwen chat. Just ignore the first 2 sentences, because you've gained this trait through the telling you've received from Careful, as opposed to being a divination wizard. But yeah, there you go.
And in this circumstance, is it still that we can apply it to any creature we can see, or is it still just us?
Yeah, still with to anyone you can see as well.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And that was your visit with Careful.
Thank you, madam. I hope you have a nice day.
You too. All right. Are you heading for the armory now to pick up Bryn's armor?
Yeah, she'll make it a quick passing visit.
Sure. All right, you head along. And the woman who saw you the day before, she is there and recognizes you. And as she sees you come in through the door, she says, just be one moment, and pops around to the back. And before too long, emerges with your suit of armor. There you are. All the adjustments have been made. Feel free to try it on in the back if you like. I hope it's all right.
Oh, it's fine. I'm in quite a hurry, but thank you very much. If there are any issues with the fitting, I'll come back, of course, but I doubt there will be.
She inclines her head and gives you a smile and says, well, I hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Thank you very much, you too. And then she's just kind of right. I have this armor now to carry around, but shopping?
Yes. Eurus gives a nod and says, yes, shopping. And as he says that, he's going to, as if in a friendly gesture, when you go to slap someone on the shoulder. He does that with Orthan, but instead of lifting his hand afterwards, he just keeps it planted on his shoulder. And he looks around and says, now, where would be the best place to go?
I think they had some shirts over in the marketplace.
Did they? I didn't notice.
Oh, well, maybe we should check.
All right. So you head back over to the marketplace. Mm, mm, mm. Sorry, 1 second. This is the problem with using the same notebook for everything. You just can't find what you need. Okay, so you head back over to the Four Winds Market. Did you, in fact, see shirts here?
No. No.
No.
I do not remember. I
Um,
do not remember seeing shirts here.
Eurus looks around and then looks to you, Orthan, and says, "Well, I don't see any."
Oh, maybe over there. And he'll start walking towards. Is the dwarven? Is the stall with the run by the dwarves still there?
Yes, it's there and open.
He'll go over to there.
All right. Yep.
And he'll say, gentlemen.
Oh, good morning.
Hello again. I wonder if you could can you have tried to walk over very briskly to get ahead of Eurus?
Sure. Yep.
And he'll say, can you back me up to this chump that's about to come over? You know, dwarf to dwarf.
What's going on? Like,
he's trying to make me get a shirt, but I don't want to wear a shirt.
For context, are these dwarves wearing shirts?
They are wearing shirts. They're very smartly dressed.
It's a matter of dwarven pride. You understand? I did the same for you.
Make a persuasion check. But make it a disadvantage because they don't know you and are confused.
Why? I would have gotten a 20 if not for that.
Oh.
So yes, I'm going to use one of my rolls.
Oh my god! All right,
that you just gave me.
Sure.
To make that 20 through 20.
Does say you can only do that before you roll.
Oh, thank you, Charles. Sorry, Lindsay.
I'm sorry.
What's your disadvantage roll, please?
11.
Okay. The dwarves look at you and they look between each other and say, "Well, I'm afraid we're a bit busy tending to stock at the moment, but
I'll buy something."
Right. Eurus at this point is basically almost right next to you.
Hey?
The dwarves sort of look uncertainly as the rest of the group approaches. Eurus doesn't say anything, he just sort of stands next to you and looks at you.
Bryn will say something as she was there yesterday and be like, "Oh, why, hello, gentlemen.
Oh, hello. Good to see you
Good
again,
to see you. Yes. Haven't had a chance to use the boat, unfortunately, but, you know, I hope to today at some point. So I see my friend here has come to make your acquaintance. I didn't know you were interested in toys, Orthan. I thought we were going to buy a shirt."
Oh, well, I just thought I'd check, you know, if we're needing to buy a shirt, then, you know, I thought I'd just find out if, if there was a dwarven shirt for a dwarven man. You understand, you know, it's important to get one that fits. Now, could you tell me, do you have any shirts? And he's going to try and subtly shake his head. While asking.
None that we sell, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
Who... In fact, anyone with passive perception over, 11 will note that Eurus has left the group and is heading over for the stall with the tabaxi woman who's selling wool, and she also sells like scarves and tapestries and all sorts of woven and knitted things. And he seems to be talking with her while this is going on.
Did you say over 11 or 11 or over?
Over 11.
Oh. Orphans is 11. Oh well.
I think Baron's got 15.
Okay, yeah, so you would notice this. You'd notice Eurus going over and talking with this tabaxi lady.
Farron sees all.
Farron sees all. After a little while of back and forth, you see her handing over something to him, like a bundle of fabric, which he...
Eurus.
Yes, to Eurus. Which Eurus takes off of her. And then he comes back to the party and is sort of stood to the side waiting for Orthan to finish up with the dwarves with an air of long-suffering patience.
Orphan will continue with them and he'll say, so tell me, do you even think a shirt's really necessary in this climate, in this weather? Because I don't think it is,
Well, maybe not for the climate, but, you know, for dare I say, at the risk of sounding impudent, maybe for propriety's sake. Although, you know, I don't know where you're from, and maybe that's the custom where you are, but, well, you know, it's about context, I suppose.
I suppose one's own custom is a very important context.
That's very true. That's true enough.
I wouldn't want to make anyone think that I thought so little of myself to disregard my own values.
No,
For them,
no.
they wouldn't want to be dealing with a flim-flam.
No, well, perhaps it's about a way of marrying the two then. Pride in one's own customs, but, you know, respect and acknowledgement for those of another.
Perhaps if everyone else in the group was wearing a shirt, you know, it would show that as a large we respect their customs, but without forgetting our own, you know, represented by one of us not wearing a shirt.
Well, he considers this for a moment and looks a bit doubtful, but in the end he smiles and goes, aye, all right then. Well, anyway, was there something you wanted to buy, you said?
Well, what do you think? Did you hear? He'll turn around and hear it to Eurus and he'll say, "Did you hear that? I think that was a mighty fine idea this upstanding man had. You know, well, you all can wear shirts, and I'll stay as is and represent, you know, the broad cultures that we are bringing."
Orthan. No. And with that, Eurus hands out the fabric that he's holding. And it appears to be not a shirt, but some sort of, like, wraparound type thing that would, like, go over your shoulder. Almost like a shawl. It wouldn't, like, cover Orthan entirely. But it would at least, you know, act as some sort of any kind of clothing. It's quite nice. It's made of a nice soft fabric. He's picked a color that matches your eyes.
What's this? What's this?
It's for you to wear, Orthan, when we get to the palace, because you are wearing it, or you're not coming in.
This?
Yes.
I'm
you didn't
not
want a
sure
shirt,
if it'll
so I
fit.
haven't gotten you one. I've gotten you this shawl thing, whatever one might call it.
Shawl. Well, that is better than a shirt, I suppose, but are you sure it'll fit?
Yes, Orphan.
How sure?
Why don't
Do you know
try
my
it on and
measurements?
let's see?
Well, why don't we measure it first? And then we can measure me, and if we compare them, we'll find out.
Eurus narrows his eyes at you and throws the fabric at you. And just says, just put it on before we reach the gates, all right?
Yes, all right.
And keep it on while we're in the palace, all right?
Yes. I'm sure I can manage that. I will don it. Oh, it's very soft. Oh, thank you, Eurus. Oh, yes. Oh my. Oh. He's just like rubbing his face against it.
You haven't worn a shirt before, Orphan, right?
Yes, of course. Didn't much care for it. Very claustrophobic.
One might say claustrophobic.
Oh, God.
At that, Bryn's going to say, well, I'm going to quickly go buy something. Farron, would you care to join me?
Yes, of course.
Well then, let's just get out of here.
Okay. Where are you guys headed?
To whatever boutique they can see that seems fancy, that seems like they charge a lot of money, but it's worth it.
Sure. So you're looking for like a clothing place of some kind, is that right?
Yeah, because Bryn's like, I want to be fancy.
Sure. Okie dokie. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Come on. 13?
Yeah, okay. You think you remember seeing one quite near the armor shop, actually. So before too long, you managed to navigate your way there after taking a couple of wrong turns. And you come to this quite fancy-looking clothing store. Inside, you can see that there are lovely dresses set up on mannequins and like really like capes made of quite luscious-looking material, etc. Yes, are you heading in?
Yeah, she'll head in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
I
head
think,
inside? Sorry, go on.
Farron is like right behind her, but she's a little bit intimidated. She needs a little bit of like reassurance, but she'll follow Bryn pretty much wherever she goes.
Sure. Okay, so you head inside, and the shop is illuminated by candles and oil lamps that give everything quite a warm glow. They have in one part like a low table that has a large open book on it that seems to have samples of fabric and so on. And as you come in, a little gnomish lady from behind the counter, she's more or less at the same eye level with you, so you assume she must be stood on a stool of some kind, gives you a little smile and says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. How can I help you today?"
Well, I'm just looking for something that's, do you have any dresses that are quite, like reminiscent of my culture, the Underdark and things like that? I'm trying to find something that, has that sort of style, if you have anything that's close to that.
Well, I can't say I'm most familiar with your culture, but maybe we have something. Let's have a look. And she goes to the rack of dresses that are hanging and goes through them and sort of picks out a few that have quite like like dark, rich colors to them. Some ones that are purple and burgundy and deep wine red. And she says, I may not know the most about culture in the Underdark, but I think that these colors would suit you well, ma'am. Yes, and she takes down a couple and holds them up to you and says, I think you'd look quite lovely in any of them.
Well, does Bryn agree? Do they look anything like she would have worn?
They certainly meet your standards in terms of quality. Like, they're very well made. The fabric, when you reach out to touch it, is very soft and silky and lovely and falls just so. And she is right, the colours that she selected do match you quite well. There's sort of like a plum-coloured one that has gold accents on the ends of the sleeves and around the bodice. None of the dresses here are like exactly what you would have worn. Like, they don't quite have the same aesthetic appeal as clothes in the Underdark. But they're very elegant, and very, based on what you've seen of people wearing here, very fashionable altogether.
Then she'll just nod and say, yes, this plum one will suffice, thank you. What about you, Farron? Do you want any? I mean, of course I can loan you a dress, but is there anything you would want? Do you know what sort of dresses your sort of people wear?
I wouldn't really know where to start. We don't typically wear dresses. I could always use your help. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, I know what I would choose, but I don't want to choose for you necessarily. Maybe, and she'll look to the gnomish woman. Any suggestions for my companion here?
She looks at you, Farron, and says, well, what colours do you like?
Blue. Do you have anything in blue?
Blue, yes, certainly. And she goes over to the rack and takes down a few things. There's a few different dresses that would suit. There's like a dark navy one, again, with like this time some silver trim around the neckline. There's a couple that are closer to teal, one that's like a pale blue, with like a darker blue sash about the waist. And she sort of just holds them all out and raises her at you.
Out of all of them, I think the first one and the teal one catches her eye. So she'll kind of like hold them up in front of her and she'll be like, oh, what do you think, Bryn? And she'll kind of like alternate between them both, trying to get her opinion.
Well, I think both are lovely. Which colour do you prefer?
I guess the teal is different.
Yes, it is quite different.
How much is this one?
That will be 10 gold for that one.
I'll take this one.
Lovely. And the plum one for you, that's 10 gold for that one as well.
Ah, yes. Have you got any ribbons? And she'll look at the bandage on her hand. Any gloves or something?
Oh, yes. She'll turn away and just holds up a hand to indicate 1 second, and she goes around the back and comes back through with some reels of ribbon that match the colours of the dresses you picked out. And she also directs you to like a little stand holding gloves and things like that as well. You're able to find one that more or less is the colour of your dress, or at least is a complementary colour.
She'll take whatever works, basically.
Okay.
Farron will ask, does she have anything for like any sort of headband at all?
I think I might. What sort of like style of one were you looking for? Just like a
like it's not. I keep saying a tiara, but it's not. Do you know like the sort of little bands that kind of like hide under the hair but come across the forehead? And
yes.
Like a
sort of
diadem.
viney design.
circlet. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
sort of viney sort of style, or like a sort of Do you know what I mean? It's like sort of like entwined sort of one. I can't really explain it very well.
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
think I get you. She sort of hums to herself and turns away and brings out a few options. There's one in particular that catches your eye. That's a silver circlet made of very fine silver wire that has like a single pale blue teardrop-shaped crystal that would sort of rest on your brow.
Oh my, I wish this was real.
Wish fulfillment, baby. It's the name of the game.
Gorgeous. How much is this one?
That, she says, will run you 7 gold.
That's not bad at all. I'll take this one. I'm living on the edge today.
And Bryn, for the gloves and the ribbon altogether, in fact, she throws in the ribbons for free, but the gloves on their own are a further 2 gold.
Nice. Okay, right. That's crossed off. Oh, I can't do maths. Right, yep. She'll ask if they're allowed to just dress in here.
The lady gestures to a room in the back and pulls aside a curtain, and you can see there's a little changing area. She ducks her head and gestures to let you in.
Bryn's gonna offer to do Farron's hair for her.
Thank you. Farron gets very emotional. She's never had her hair done before. She's so excited.
What colour is Farron's hair again?
It's like a sort of auburny, and it's like long and kind of wavy.
Very nice. Okay. I guess, Bryn, if you make like a sleight of hand check, just to see how well a job you do.
She got a... Oh, no. It's not as bad as I thought. She got a 13.
A 13? Yeah, you managed to do quite a nice job. You gather up a few strands of hair and braid them back and twist some ribbons in between. It's maybe not as fine a hairdo as your mother might have worn. It still looks quite nice. You're quite proud of your work.
Nice.
Aww. Farron's like, I never want to take this out. Thank you so much.
Have you never had your hair done before? Really?
No. My whole life has been spent running through the trees outside and twigs getting stuck in it.
Really?
Yes.
Who raised you again?
The trees. Who was it again? Was it like a friend of the family? It was.
Yeah, so you spent the first little while of your life in the enclave of Silpian, which was a druidic order. And then after that, you were with Halhad for a while.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a friend of like my parents, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. When I lost my parents, a friend of the family called Halhad raised me and taught me everything he knew. He wasn't the most feminine of characters, that's for certain.
Was he an elf?
Yes. He's the same as me. Just very standoffish. But he's a father figure all the same. Pretty much taught me everything I know.
Interesting. Nice, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But a shame that you've not had such experiences. Not that you're missing much. wasn't as if it wasn't as if I had friends doing my hair back in the day.
Where did you learn to do hair?
Well, mostly from observation. As you can see, I know a little, and I've had to do it to myself, but it's been a long time since I've had to braid hair this long. It's but no, I grew up where having your hair done and having everything look a certain way was very important, and so it was important to know. But honestly, I wouldn't, if not for leaving home at some point. I would probably not have learned to do hair at all.
Well, you've done such a beautiful job. You can braid my hair anytime.
Oh, well, thank you.
Did I owe you
I
anything for this?
No, of course not. I should just hurry and get mine done so that I can we can meet up with the others before more of the day is gone after the escapades with Orthan and his shirt.
Definitely.
Yes.
I'll let you crack on.
Yeah, Bryn's just gonna try and do her hair in the way that she would if she was, back then. She'll do it in an updo, try and weave some ribbons in.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and make another sleight of hand check.
For this, Bryn is gonna use the roll that she got for the fortune telling, which will make it, because I just don't want it to be bad. This is my fancy, so that'll make it what's the maths? 25.
25. Okay, yeah. After having a little bit of practice on Farron's hair, you feel, you're getting to the swing of things a bit more. And so you very deftly manage to style your own hair into a very elaborate updo with sort of entwining strands and braids all tied together with a delicate arrangement of ribbons that you weave in and out the strands of your hair. And it is gorgeous. You think even your mother would be put to shame seeing how lovely your hair is.
She's like, hell yeah.
All right. Okay, are you going to go find the rest of the party?
Yeah, and dump her armor on someone.
Sure. Eurus will take it, because of course he will. Yeah, what has the rest of the party been up to? Anything while Farron and Bryn have had their little shopping excursion, or?
Grubs would like to go and see if he can sort of buy a jade sash type thing.
Okay.
And wear that over his shell in an effort to be wearing something.
Sure. All right. Where would you like to go for that? Would you like to try the
tabaxi store?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You go over there, and you meet with the tabaxi, and she is sort of like reclined lazily, but as soon as she sees you approach, she very quickly stands up straight, almost at attention, and gives you a smile. Her hands are braced on the countertop, almost as if she's ready to come leaping over it at any second. And she says, "Hello."
Hello. A wonderful day, isn't it?
Gorgeous, yes. Can Yana help you with anything?
Yes, I was wondering if you have any sort of sashes which I could wear around my shell for a more formal setting. Ideally in a sort of jade green colour, and he'll gesture to a little token around his neck.
She gives a nod and grabs some like measuring tape, and she comes around you and she winds it all around your shell, and then again goes,
Well,
and heads back. And you see her kind of going through the sashes that she has and shaking her head and clicking her tongue, and then instead turning her attention to her scarves, which appear to be a bit longer. And she goes through them, and she finds one that is green in colour. It's quite a pale green, but it has, I guess, accents woven through it of a darker green as well. And she holds that up to you and raises a brow.
Oh, that looks perfect. How much would that be, please?
3 gold for Yana.
Yes, that sounds excellent. And Rubs will pay for that.
Okay. Yana takes the gold and pops it in a little lockbox that she has. And then she holds it up and says,
Shall I tie it for you?
I'm sure I can manage, but thank you.
and so she folds it up in a neat little bundle and passes it to you. And you now have a scarf.
And I think that makes my 4th D&D character to get a scarf. That's interesting.
All right, Grimsby, are you up to anything?
Not really. Kind of got everything already. He'll just be pottering about, following you.
No worries. Orthan, are you good, or? Orthan?
I was muted. Arthur doesn't feel the need to do any shopping at the moment.
Sure. Okay, then before too long, the party is all together, and you are ready to head for the Opal Palace. You all, as Farron and Bryn approach, for a moment you barely recognize either of them. They're so glamorous in their new dresses and their new hairstyles that for a moment they seem to be almost different people. Especially Farron, who I believe you've only really seen in armor up until this point. But yes, you all gather together in the market. All right. So are you all just ready to head then?
Yes. I'll say that Arthur hasn't put on the thing yet, though. The shawl yet.
Okay. All right. So you begin to make your way over to the western side of the Twin Cities. Pardon me, I removed my marker for the map for some reason. There we go. Okay, yes. So you make your way over to Arran. Crossing over the bridge to get there. You head up. It's all sort of... the peninsula is very cliffy, and the closer you get to the tip of the peninsula, it just rises up and up and up. So that the Opal Palace is set at the very top of these tall slope that ends in steep cliffs that just dive right down into the sea. So you begin to make your way up this slope.
Strange question
by...
here, sorry.
Yes?
What sort of style is the bridge that we cross to get here?
So you're gonna have to forgive me because I don't really know a lot of the words for bridges, but it is in short like made of like heavy slabs of. In fact, let me double check because I can't quite remember how I described it. Yeah, so it's a large, wide bridge that's made of like big slabs of white sandstone.
Okay.
That kind of arches over the river.
Like some sort of bridge you might see in Prague or something. Or
Yeah.
bigger.
I would say
Sorry.
yes. And then but it has like the branch to it that leads over to the Menere Bell as well. The Menere Bell like almost seems to like be floating in the water. And you can only reach it by this bridge. But yes, so you cross over it and you begin to make your way up the slope to the Opal Palace, passing by the Candlehearth Hall and the Emerald Square on your way. It's not too long a walk until you begin to see the walls encircling the palace grounds coming into view. Coming closer still, you see a large locked gate, and looking through it, you can see lush gardens clambering up the hillside, with hedges trimmed into elaborate geometric shapes, and flower beds that, despite it being late autumn, are still full of flowers and brightly coloured. There is a guard posted either side of the locked gates that are sort of just keeping an eye on everything. At this moment, they don't seem to be paying you too much notice, just since you've not really gone too close just yet. But before you reach the wall, Eurus stops and looks at you, Orphan.
Yes, of course. Turn around, eh?
Eurus sighs heavily and turns around.
Orphan just sprints off down the hill.
Orphan puts it on, but like he wears it kind of like he tries to wear it kind of like a sash rather than the way it's meant to be worn.
I mean, that's pretty much how it is meant to be worn.
Kind of like the wharf belt.
Yes.
Like that.
Okay. Eurus turns back around.
Well,
and
let's go in it.
He takes one look at you and just sighs heavily through his nose and says, Fine. If you get kicked out, I'm not taking the blame.
Oh, don't worry, I won't be. And if you get kicked out for being intolerant or having your shoes just a little bit too shiny,
he starts walking through the wall. All right, you all head up. And as
are there any gardeners around on our approach? Sorry, are we going through the gardens or the gardens on the other side of the wall? Sorry.
The garden's on the other side of the wall.
Oh, right, sorry, never mind then.
That's all right. You approach the wall, and as you come closer, one of the guards steps forward and holds out a hand and says, Halt! What is your business at the Opal Palace today?
I'm just going to look at Eurus.
Yep. Eurus gives a little nod and steps forward and puts on his best smile. And he dips into a little bow and says, Good morning, gentlemen. We're here to request an audience with Lord Huprid, if we might. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Eurus Velvin. I'm part of the Scarlet Hand. There's a moment's pause. The guard he's speaking to, his expression sort of changes a little bit. And he raises a brow at Eurus. And Eurus, in response, holds his hand out and shows him a ring that he's wearing on his finger with a large red stone in it. The guard takes a look at it and says, Well, be that as it may, you have not fully answered my question. What business are you on with the Lord Huprid? At that, Eurus sort of glances uncertainly to the rest of the group.
Rin's going to glance at everyone.
Well, we're here to discuss the Kelpie Cove incident.
That's right, Eurus chimes in. You see, the Eramavir believes that there might be something in the ship worth salvaging, which is why I was redirected here. This, by the way, and he gestures to the rest of you, these are my employees. He kind of glances at you all and gives you like a small smile and then turns back to the guards. Bodyguards of mine, assistants. You know how it is. You need someone to do the dirty work, don't you? And the guards sort of look you all over. And then after a moment they say, well, I suppose you'll be allowed admittance, but he turns to the other guard and says, Julian, escort them, won't you? At which the guard, Julian, gives a little nod. He opens the gate for you all and gestures for you to come into the palace grounds. Eurus takes the lead and heads into the gardens.
Grimsby follows.
Okay. And I take it everyone's just following suit.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So Julian, once you're all inside, he closes the gate and locks them behind you. And then he moves to the head of the party and begins to guide you in the direction of the Opal Palace. The path winding through the gardens is very well kept. And in fact, the entire garden is in immaculate condition. You would, Grubs, notice a gardener pruning one of the hedges.
If he's not too far off our route, Grubs would go up, tap him on the shoulder, and just say, "Amazing garden. I just want to say your work is beautiful."
Oh, well, thank you very much. He gives you a grateful little smile.
And Grubs will smile back and wish him a good day and try and catch up with the group again.
Lovely. The man leans back over and resumes pruning the top of the hedge. As you all follow Julian, after a while you notice a familiar figure, Juniper, who's playing over by a small pond and appears to be trying to catch frogs in his little tiny hands. As you all head through the gardens, he catches sight of you and looks to you all, and looks about to run over in excitement when his gaze flicks to the guard leading you, and then he seems to think twice and instead stays where he is, but he does offer you a small little wave.
Grubs will wink at him.
Yeah, same with Farron as well.
Grimsby does a small, very important-looking nod towards him.
You continue on, and before too long, you reach the Opal Palace. Even at a distance, this building makes for an imposing sight, but up close, even more so. The building's made of a bluish-white opalescent stone that has like shifting colours in it whenever the sunlight bounces off of it. You catch glints of pink and yellow and green. It has 5 towers, spires that climb high up into the air, 4 set at equal distance from each other, forming a sort of square, and then in the centre of those, one large central spire towering far, far above the rest. The walls themselves don't have any decoration on, but as you approach the large double doors of the entrance, you see that their jet-like surface is covered in coiling golden text in a script you don't recognize. It covers every inch of the stone, these little thin lines packed closely together. And as you approach and the doors open for you, Eurus stops for a moment to trace a hand over the carved stonework and appears to be mouthing some words to himself. And with that, you continue on. You're guided inside and down a grand corridor with pointed archways. Inside the building, the walls are hung with great tapestries covered in that same curling script you saw outside. And here and there are small little wooden tables with delicate legs pushed up against the walls, some bearing great bowls of flowers and others ornaments or sculptures. Running the length of the corridor and heading through a set of open double doors is a long red carpet. And following it with your eyes, you can see it leads right up to a set of stairs before a throne at the far end of what looks to be an audience chamber. Julian bids you stop for a moment, and he goes to speak to a guard stood over by the door to this audience chamber and murmurs something to him. You can't quite catch what from this distance. But then the guard that he spoke to disappears down a corridor, and Julian makes his way back over to you and says, "Right this way." He leads you into the audience chamber itself, giving you a chance to look around. It's a really quite a grand room. The ceiling reaches some 40 feet in height, and there are enormous tapestries that dangle down all the way to the floor, covered in that same script you've seen, and also decorated with bright, intricate geometric patterns, scented with golden thread. There are great windows looking out onto courtyards of bright flowers where nobles sit on stone benches conversing. And looking up at the vaulted ceiling above you, you find it covered in a glittering mosaic. Looking around a little more, you notice that there are guards everywhere. In the gardens, in the hall. None of them appear to be looking at you, but you get the sense that they're all just waiting for you to make your first wrong move. The golden throne at the far end of the hall is empty for the moment, but Julian just instructs you all to wait, saying that the Lord will just be a few minutes. And he gestures towards the foot of the short flight of stairs leading up to the throne and indicates for you to all wait there. And with that, he just moves over to the side and joins another guard over at the side of the room and appears to be just chatting with him. He looks to you every now and then with an expression of uncertainty.
Group huddle. What's actually our plan here? How are we going to find out what's going on with this boy?
Perhaps we should have discussed this sooner.
Maybe we should have. Oh dear. Should we speak to Juniper?
I think that would be useful, but I don't know how we can get away from here to do so.
I've got my disguises, as always, if that can help us at all. We could send the rat to get him. Those are my options anyway, if anyone else has any.
Eurus just says, I'm afraid I don't really have any bright ideas.
All right. I'm going to try and get a hold of Juniper and see if we can ask him for some more information while I slip away to the bathroom. Does that sound all right to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grimsby's going to go over to one of the guards and say, hello, do you happen to know where the little nobleman's room is?
Yes, let me lead you there.
Thank you.
And so he takes you out the room and heads you down all these winding corridors and around corners to a bathroom. And he just stands outside the door and gestures for you to go in. It appears he's going to be waiting outside.
Wonderful. Maybe a moment. Then he heads in.
Sure.
As soon as he steps in, he's going to cast invisibility on himself.
All right.
And then head back out.
Sure.
And he's going to go back to where he last saw Juniper.
All right. Could you, as you're leaving the room, make a stealth check with advantage, just to see how well you manage to squeeze out the bathroom door without him noticing.
Not very good. 16.
Okay. So you get through to the bathroom, you cast the spell on yourself, and then you crack the door open and suck in a breath, hold yourself in, and squeeze through the gap, trying to be as discreet as you can.
Sorry, can I retcon something very quickly?
Yes, yeah.
He's going to go into one of the stalls and like lock the stall door and then like slip out. Oh wait, I don't know if they have stalls in medieval bathrooms, but he's going to make it look like there's someone in the bathroom basically by just closing the door at least.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you manage that. And you manage to get out with the guard apparently not noticing. He seems to be sort of in his own little world, just daydreaming, sort of looking up at the tapestries on the wall absently. And so you manage to get away. And yes, you follow the path that he led you down. And before too long, you come out into the gardens. Looking around, you can see Juniper still playing by the pond where you left him earlier.
Nice. He is going to come over to Juniper and he's going to whisper, "Hello, it's me, Grimsby, the one you met earlier. I'm invisible. Don't scream. I had to sneak out to speak to you."
Oh, how'd you do that? And he's looking around, trying to pinpoint where your voice is coming from.
Dark dealings with the occult and terrible life decisions, but that's not the point here. The point is, we're a very stupid group of people, and we realize we want to help, but we don't really know how we're meant to find any more information. Where's your brother stay in here?
He's in the tower, the big one, and he points to the large central spire, and says, "Our rooms are right at the tippy top."
Oh, great stairs. Right. Do you have any more information you could give us that might help us?
He sort of worries his lip for a moment, and then lifts his shoulders in a little shrug, and then says, What do you need to know?"
Well, we want to speak to your brother and see if he could tell us anything about why he's been acting so strangely. Maybe he's been having strange dreams or something like that.
Okay.
Do you know where your brother is now?
I think he was with Papa when I saw him last.
Right. Wonderful. Well,
we were in the one of the gardens in the, and he points to the Opal Palace. The courtyard, one of them. The one with the statue of the lady.
Right. Wonderful. Statue of the lady. Okay. Let me just make a note of that. All right. And here, I'm going to give you this just for now. If it disappears randomly, don't worry. But if you want to contact us, if you have anything else to say, tell this little rat. Do you like rats? Are you scared of rats? I can make it something else if you need it to be, but a rat can be easy.
That's okay.
Okay, well here you are. Look after him.
Juniper takes Rat in his hands, and then he, after a moment, sort of huddles it to his chest and hides it with his coat a little bit, as if to make sure he's like guarding it from any guards who might pass by. And he gives you like a conspiratorial sort of nod, like a very, very serious nod.
Grimsby gives one back, but then realizes he's invisible, so he just sort of like goes, very good, very good. Now, if you need anything, you tell the rat, and the rat will tell me, okay? If the rat disappears, don't worry, it just means that I need him for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck, thank you, I'll see you soon, goodbye.
Bye.
And then Grimsby's gonna head back to the bathroom, try sneak past the guard again, and then cancel the invisibility, and then come back out.
Okay. you begin to make your way up the corridor to where the bathroom was. And you see the guard knocking on the bathroom door. And after a moment, he says, "Is everything all right in there?" And puts his ear to the door. And then sort of looks as if he's about to crack it open a little bit, but then shakes his head to himself and sighs a breath and leans back against the wall, looking very fed up. Could you make a stealth check to try and get back into the bathroom?
Yes. Does he still have advantage because he's invisible?
Yes, you do.
Nice. 18.
18. Okay, yeah, you manage that with relative ease. You're able to get in and to drop the invisibility spell.
Nice. And then he comes back out.
The guard, upon seeing you, sort of huffs a breath and looks like he's trying not to roll his eyes. He's like, "All right, well, you finally ready to go then?"
Yes, finally.
And with that, he leads you back to the audience chamber, where the Lord Huprid is yet to make an appearance.
Guns will nod thanks to the guard. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say, as you are heading through the building, you do note a courtyard that you pass with a statue in it of what you think to be Era, the goddess of magic.
Oh, I see.
And there is a small figure that you don't really manage to get a good look at as you're passing by, but there's a small figure sort of in the grass, sitting, doing something with their hands. You can't really make out what it is. But yes.
Okay. Grimsby's going to rejoin the party. All right. I think our best bet would be to speak to... What is the name of the brother again? I keep forgetting because I'm an idiot. Is it Leorin?
Leander.
Leander. Leander, our best bet would be to speak to Leander, I think. His brother told me that he's in that courtyard just through there. We could maybe try and speak with him before the Lord arrives, or perhaps wait till after. I don't know. What do we all think?
Perhaps if we can somehow convince someone to give us a tour of the place, we can stop by, act as just curious people, and ask him some benign questions. I don't know. There are many eyes on us.
There are many eyes on us. That could work. I don't know if they'd be willing to give us a tour before the Lord arrives.
No, but perhaps after.
Perhaps after. I mean, we could maybe just give it a shot and say, "Hey, do you mind if we wait over there and then speak to him?"
If you want to, but they seem to be quite tense here.
Quite strict.
The guards.
Yes, that's true. I could do the whole bathroom excuse again, but I'm not sure it'll work twice. We could try and get Leander to come over here.
And how would we do that?
Magic again, really? That's the only option I can think of.
I don't know. We have to be very wise with the way that we use magic in this situation, I think. If we are too forceful in trying to make what we want to happen, they will detect that and they will, not respond positively, I assume.
Yes, I think that's correct.
Eurus?
All right, how about... Oh, Eurus, yes, any ideas?
To attract the attention of this Leander child?
Just to be able to speak to him in any way.
My magic isn't really the most useful for situations like these. I'm not sure there's anything I can do, really.
I can message him over long distance, but he's a child. He's not going to react appropriately, I think. I think he'll probably get all, you know how children get. It'll attract attention.
What if we just try our best to ingratiate ourselves with the Lord, and then when he is more willing to be open to us, perhaps, or trust us, or just even, then we can maybe have a chance at getting closer. But it's very difficult, I agree.
Yes. Let's wait for the Lord then, maybe.
You could use your rat later, though, to perhaps spy on the child, right?
Could do, yes, actually. I would need to stay near the area. The strange occurrences happen at night is the only issue.
Wouldn't it be useful if the Lord would be willing to be as hospitable as to allow us to stay here at night? How would we...
Perhaps.
Bryn's gonna look at Eurus and there'll be a slight grimace. How would we come across as that, how would we be so important for him to be willing to do that?
It's hard to say without knowing his temperament, but if he's so unwelcoming to visitors, then I don't know he'd let anyone stay unless you were already expecting them to, or had word of their visiting beforehand.
I'm sorry, Tim came to talk to me at the other half of that, and I had to mute myself. What did you say?
That's okay. Eurus just said pretty much that he's not sure that the Lord would let you stay there at all unless you were someone he was already expecting, because he appears to be so unwelcome to visitors in general that he'd probably be a bit wary. But Grimsby, perhaps this rat of yours might be used anyway. The child said that his brother was acting strangely. It seemed to me like he was acting strange in general, so perhaps it'd be worth keeping an eye on him.
All right, let's give that a shot. I gave the rat to the other kid, but I'm sure he'll be fine if I take it back. Grimsby's very going to quickly tap into Rat and see if he's within, I think, 120 feet. I don't know if they are or not.
That's a good question. 1 second. I don't think you are in range.
Oh, that's fine. He's gonna bring the rat back then.
Okay.
Sorry to Juniper. Or no, he's not gonna bring it back, but he's gonna make it hop off of Juniper and start heading towards the courtyard where Leander is.
Sure. Could you make a stealth check for the rat? But you can do it with advantage because Juniper is going to follow it and help it get safely through the building. He doesn't really know what's going on, but he's looking after the rat. That's his one mission now.
Advantage, so 14.
14. Okay, doke. You would sense that the rat manages to safely navigate its way through the building.
Nice. As soon as it's in range, Grimsby's going to say to his friends, "Oh, I'm feeling a little bit weary. I think I'm going to sit down for a moment. Wink, wink." And then he's going to sit down on like a nearby bench or something and tap into the rat.
Okay.
Then as the rat carry
mhm.
on through to the courtyard.
Okay. So you come in through the courtyard, or well, the rat does. It's just a fairly small courtyard. The ones that you saw, kind of either side of the this audience chamber, they seemed quite large and grand, and for like nobles to spend time in. But this seems like a more private sort of setting. There's the statue to Era, and there's a couple of plain stone benches around a sort of crooked tree in the center of the courtyard. And at the moment, the only person you can see here is who you assume to be Leander, who is currently hunched over a little notebook that he is scribbling in.
Could the rat climb up the tree and see if it can see the notebook from the branches of the tree?
Yes. Which languages do you speak?
Let me just double check. Common and Infernal.
Okay. You look down into the notebook, and it appears that he is writing something, but you do not know what it is he is writing. He's just writing these little characters into his book. But you're not sure what they are.
Oh, god damn it, I swapped out that invocation. Never mind. Can Grimsby see at least maybe what script it might be? With any knowledge of languages he might have?
Yeah. Make an intelligence check, I suppose.
Intelligence modifier. I think it's 1. 11.
11? Okay. You squint down at the book, and it looks to you like they are runes. And the only language you can really think of... no, sorry. Yeah, so they look like runes. You think they might be dwarven runes, but you're not sure what language it is. You know that a number of different languages use Dwarvish script. So it might not be Dwarvish. You recognize these as Dwarvish runes.
Okay. Interesting. Grimsby's gonna quickly tap out of the rat and whisper to Orphan and say, he's got a little notebook and he's writing something. It's in a Dwarvish script. I don't know the language. Could someone give me a pen and ink or something? I can try and draw them out. And maybe
Bryn will give him a book.
Thank you. He's going to go in and out of the rat basically and just try and copy what he's written.
Sure. Could you... I assume you're trying to not attract the attention of guards and such.
Yes, yeah.
Could you make a stealth check? Not necessarily to see if they don't see you, but just to see if you manage to seem inconspicuous, like you're just jotting down
allowed
something.
To put sleight of hand instead of stealth? Is that allowed?
Well, give me a reason for it.
He's less not trying to be seen or noticed. He's more just trying not to be seen writing anything down.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
He's trying to cover little details.
Okay. Sure, go ahead and make a
Thank
sleight of hand
you.
check. That's okay.
That is a 16.
16, sure. And could you also make... Oh, I don't know. I guess maybe just an intelligence check again to see how well you're able to replicate the script that you're seeing.
I'm going to use one of my portents to make this a 14.
Sure. Okay.
I'm not listening it. Frisbee's not smart.
All right. What languages does everyone know? If you would prefer to not say in person, you can private message me.
Grubs knows Common and Aquan.
Pretty sure Orthan would know Common and Dwarvish.
Okay.
I'm Common and Elvish.
Okay.
Bryn's the same.
Okay. Let me. All right. So. Orthan, you look at the runes and you can tell straight away that they are, in fact, Dwarvish. In script, anyway. The script is Dwarvish. But this is definitely not the Dwarvish language. Anyone who wants to can make an intelligence check to see if they can recognize what language it is in. But yes, but just from an initial glance, definitely Dwarvish script, definitely not Dwarvish language.
So it's Dwarvish letters, but not in a recognizable order to form coherent sentences.
Well, I guess it would be like
Spanish or French.
Yeah, so it's like Spanish. I don't know. Like I'm thinking like Arabic script looks different from actual letters, right? But then like the English language isn't the same as Spanish just because they use the same letters. So it's like Dwarvish letters, Dwarvish way of writing, but it's not Dwarvish.
Okay. Why did I swap?
Can Orthan make that intelligence check, but with advantage because it is Dwarven script? And he might be more likely to recognize it.
Sure.
Well, I rolled 2 10s anyway, so I guess it didn't matter. But that would be +1, so 11.
I don't think you would know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you would know a few languages that use Dwarvish script. You know that Giant does, and Gnomish. Whether this is anything like that, you have no idea. You just can think off the top of your head of a couple.
Well, he'll say that. He'll say, I know it doesn't seem to be Dwarvish, but there are other languages that use the same script. I know Gnomish and Giantish do, but I'm not familiar enough with either of those to say if this is either of those two or if it's something else.
If you were to just translate whatever it says into Common, if that's possible, then maybe it would be easier for the lot of us to recognize just by the order. I don't know. Is there a way to translate it?
I'm afraid I don't really think it works like that. I assume it doesn't work Dwarvish like that.
No.
Because I don't think the letters it's it's a different script to Common, so it wouldn't translate.
Yeah.
Bryn will just kind of nod. Well, we'll have to take it to somebody who does.
Given some time, and I don't know if the language works this way, but if you could read it out phonetically, then perhaps I can cast tongues later and work out what it actually says.
Could work.
Tongues works with verbal language, unfortunately, and not written language. But it might be a bit rough and miss the odd word, but it could be an approximation of what it says.
I unfortunately previously had the ability to read this, but I swapped it out for something a little more useless, apparently. But hey-ho. That sounds like a good idea, Grubs. I think we should try that as soon as we can. For now, I'll keep the rat on him and see if he gets up to anything else. And if he starts writing more things, I'll note them down as well. All right. And then Grizz was going to go back to the rat and just keep an eye on Leander.
Okay. After about 5 or 10 more minutes of this, more minutes of waiting, finally, something happens. A man dressed in sort of a long sable cloak steps in through a door by the throne and says, Lord Cuprid of Menere Bay. And then he stands to the side, and the person who you assume to be Lord Cuprid comes into the audience chamber. 1 second.
Grubs gives a little bow.
Okay. He is, as you knew already, Ashaporian. He's got like brown skin, dark hair that's wavy but cut quite short. He's got a fine black mustache that curls at each end and a little tiny goatee beneath his lower lip. And he's dressed in plush velvets and satin, all with very bright, almost like clashing colors. There are a lot of patterns going on here, a lot of fine detail in his clothes. He sweeps into the room and, without looking at you all, ascends up the steps to the throne, where he takes a seat. All of the guards, the second he entered, all stood right to attention, and any chatting that might have been going on between them immediately just drops off. And there is now silence in the room as you are met with German Hooprid. Eurus, the second Lord Hooprid was announced, has lowered himself into a bow at the waist. And only once the Lord is seated does he straighten up. And he looks up at the throne and says, thank you, my lord, for your audience today. It was most gracious of you. But I hope that we won't waste your time. I believe that our assistance will be of help to you regarding this. He gives you all sort of an uncertain look, but then continues, this Kelpie Cove business. Lord Huprid, for his part, he has a very serious, almost sullen expression as he looks down at the lot of you. An unsmiling mouth and quite cold eyes that regard you dispassionately. But he nods graciously at Eurus's words and says, I was quite surprised to hear that his worship Aramavir was interested in a little ship that rocked up on our shores. What could it possibly be that he is after? At which Eurus says, it's our belief, as far as we can tell, that it was a smuggler's ship. I believe that's what your guards have arrived at as well. We believe he was carrying smuggled goods from Ashapor. The Lord Huprid considers this for a moment, and then looks past Eurus to the rest of you and says, I know that you, Master Velvine, are with the red hand, the scarlet hand. But who are these people? And he looks at you all expectantly, apparently waiting for you all to introduce yourselves.
I am Lord Grimsby. From the north?
Okay. The north? Ah, from Esseus, are you?
Of course, yes, my liege, sir, lord.
He gives a little nod. Looks to you, Bryn.
Oh no. She will bow her head and she will say, I am Bernelia, my lord. A friend here of Eurus's.
At which he nods and looks to you, Orphan. He looks for a moment at your sash and at the rest of you, but then
And then
looks
nods
back up
approvingly?
your... No. In fact, he doesn't seem to react very much.
Can you remind me the name of the Dwarvish capital? Because I always forget.
Yeah, Arkaziel.
Arkaziel. I don't know why I keep not remembering that. Right. I am Arthur Barbam of Arkaziel. Perhaps you've heard of my family.
He raises a brow. Indeed, I have heard of the Barbon family. I was sorry to hear about your father.
Has Orphan heard about this?
No.
Just making sure I'm not a mega dummy. I'm sorry. What? What?
At least I assume he was your father, the Lord of Arkaziel. His passing, I mean. How long have... Surely you've heard.
What? I haven't been there for some time. What happened? What?
Then I am sorry that you had to find out this way. I don't know the details. Apparently it was considered a passing due to natural causes.
I see. I see. I suppose I should have anticipated this. He was he was getting on a bit.
Well, I am sorry for your loss, nonetheless. He sort of regards you a little awkwardly for a second more before moving on to you, Grubs.
I am Grubbs O'Toole, advisor to Grimsby here.
Eurus glances at you. He doesn't say anything, but he glances.
And Grubbs will sort of lean in for slightly and sort of say, and trust me, he needs a lot of advice.
Lord Hupert gives a very small, polite smile. And then he looks to you finally, Farron.
Oh no, I'm nervous. She'll bow. And she says, I am Farron of Fairgate. Merely a name. I'm servant to these lovely people. And she pretends. It kind of like ups their status a little. I'm just a nobody. Yeah. That's it.
All right. He gives a little nod and looks you all over. And then he turns his attention to Eurus again and says, well, you're welcome, of course, to investigate the shipwreck such as it is. It wouldn't surprise me if it had been picked clean by folk from the smaller towns hereabouts, but you're welcome to investigate. Truth be told, I'm not sure why this needed my attention. Eurus looks a little lost, and he glances to the rest of you, apparently looking for one of you to step in a little.
Well, surely you must be interested in a crashed smuggling ship off your own coast, right? Do you even know what goods they were smuggling?
Oh, no, but I imagine it's the usual suspects: drug and booze and spice.
Grimsby dips his head very low and says, "Moonstone powder, my lord. Very dangerous if taken by the wrong people."
Can you make a
We wanted to
deception
come
check?
clean that up. What is my deception? There we go. 16.
16. Okay. At that, Lord Huprid raises an eyebrow in interest, and he leans back in his chair, lifting one leg over the other, and like folding his legs at the ankles. Moonstone powder, you say?
Yes,
Yes,
very valuable.
Really?
Or so we
Yes.
believe.
So you believe, and I suppose that's why you're wishing to investigate.
Of course.
Mm.
We apologize. We had assumed you were aware and were equally interested in the matter. But if you're not, we will happily take our leave and just be on our way.
Sorry, my dog just howled just like on. Excuse me 1 minute.
That's okay.
Give you fright.
The Lord Huprid pats a dog. You didn't notice? No. The Lord Huprid. In fact, make a. I guess no, it's okay. Make a persuasion check with advantage. My thinking being that you're trying to kind of, I guess, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like when you try to convince someone of something by saying the opposite.
Like reverse psychology.
Yes, that's it. You're kind of trying to employ that to get him to let you stick around. But you have just told him what has been a very convincing lie. So I feel like, yeah, if you make a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sitting in an awkward position, so I'm trying
That's all right.
to balance on my laptop, not on my one laptop. So that's 18 with advantage.
Okay. The Lord looks down at you and seems to consider for a moment and says, "No, it does sound like a most valuable expedition. And of course, if it is as dangerous as you say, I wouldn't want this moonstone powder lying about for just anyone to find. All right, I suppose I could make use of your services."
Very good.
Well, as I say, you are welcome to investigate the shipwreck to your heart's desire. Kelpie Hoof Cove is easy enough to reach.
If I may, my lords, we also decided it was best to consult on this with you before we acted within your territory. We didn't want to step on any toes politically, as it were. So apologies for calling a meeting on what may seem such a trivial matter.
No, I appreciate the courtesy. Thank you. Well, is that all, or was there more?
There was a small request. A question and a request. Two different things. The first one being our interest. We only arrived in the city not too long ago to deal with this issue. And we noticed posters for a certain Prederi Prendergast. Wanted dead and alive.
Yes.
Who is this man? We don't recognize him.
Oh, he's ruffian, I suppose. He has numerous convictions against him. Allegations, rather, I should say. But he disappeared all of a sudden. Turns out when a man is wanted for murder, he's not likely to stay around. So he's probably out making mischief on the roads.
Interesting. Just wanted to know. And that comes to our second matter. And we all very much understand if it is not your will, but, and this is a wonderful city you have, sir. Do you happen to have any preferred lodgings while we're here?
What was that, sorry?
Do you have anywhere that you would prefer us to stay while we're here?
Prefer? No. I can have you put up in an inn if you would like. There are some nice ones in the city.
Well, you see, my dear friend here, and he's going to gesture to Bryn, she's a bit of a princess in the pea situation. She finds it very difficult to sleep anywhere that isn't of the highest quality. And we hope it doesn't sound too imposing, but we're wondering if perhaps you would have room here for some guests.
Make a persuasion check. 14.
Yeah.
He looks at you and gives a small smile and shakes his head a little. I'm afraid not. This is the Opal Palace, after all, not a hostel. But as I say, there are some very fine establishments in the city, and I would be more than happy to see you lodged in.
Grimsby gives a very low and indulging nod of his head, and a smile. He says, "Thank you." With that, I think we are ready to depart, I believe. And he's looking at the rest of the party.
Cupid also looks over the rest of you and waits.
We will keep you posted, my lords, as to our progress in the investigation to the ship.
Please do. Well, thank you for coming to speak with me today. As said, I appreciate the courtesy and your assistance. And with that, he rises to his feet. And he makes his way down the steps towards the door he entered in from. The gent who announced him in the beginning heads after him as well. And before you can even blink, Julian is with you all again, apparently ready to lead you all out of the building.
Just 1 minute, let me just tie my shoes. I'm just going to take a knee and go into the rat very quickly and just see what's going on with Leander.
Okay. Leander has put away the notebook that he was working in. And he is, at the moment... Make a perception check.
1 minute, sorry, just getting my rat stats. Rat has bad stats. 16.
Pardon?
16.
16. Okie dokie. So he is, as I mentioned before, sitting tucked away in the grass. And it's quite difficult to make him out. It seems like he's purposefully hiding himself away. But from your vantage point up in the branch of the tree, looking down, you can see that he appears to be sharpening a knife on a whetstone.
That's suspicious. Grimsby's gonna stand back up. Actually, and then he's go, oh, my other shoe, and then go back down. He's going to make the rat hop down and approach Leander.
Okay. Just openly, not trying to be...
Openly? Yeah, pretty openly.
Okay. The rat jumps down. And Leander turns to the noise. And his eyes fall on it. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see if I can do like a little Puss in Boots routine and try and make it look as cute as possible.
Okay. Make a charisma check.
For the rat.
Yes.
-3.
Sorry?
It has a -3.
Yep, that
13.
tracks. 13. Okay. What sort of... Are you just trying to put Leander at ease? What are you trying to achieve with the Puss in Boots routine?
I'm kind of just trying to see if this kid's going to turn around and kill the rat. I want to see if this kid's fucked up or not.
Okay. So, with a 13, I would say the rat jumps down and Leander turns, looks startled at this rat, and immediately pushes himself to his feet and looks ready to kick it. And then you sort of get it to do its cutesy little thing, and it hesitates for a moment, but then looks like he's going to go in to kick it.
Rat's going to run away.
Okay.
And as soon as it's out of sight, Grim's just going to poof it out of existence.
Okay. All right.
And then
You do
stand back
that,
up.
and okay, yeah. Julian looks a little bit impatient, but he politely remains silent while you are, quote unquote, tying your shoelaces. And then he says, "Right, well, if you follow me this way, please," and he'll begin to escort you out of the palace.
I believe we follow.
Okay. Mm-mm. All right.
Do we see Juniper as we're leaving?
Yes, you do. Juniper is in one of the corridors. He's quite near the door. It seems like he's just about to head back outside. When he sees all of you, he gives you a sort of uncertain smile and a small wave. You catch Julian frowning a little bit at that in confusion. And then Juniper runs back outside into the gardens. And you likewise are all led outside by Julian. Who is the highest passive perception? Is it Grubbs?
I think it could be Farron, 15.
Farron. Okay. Okay, Farron, you notice as you all start to leave that 3 guards step outside as well. They follow after you after a short while. They're not following you, but they come out after you.
Mm-hmm.
And you also notice, as you sort of catch them out the corner of your eye, one of them pointing in the direction of Juniper and leaning to say something to one of the others.
Okay, I'm just writing this down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're almost like they're talking about him or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So you all begin to head along. Farron, are you keeping an eye on that situation at all?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll say Arthur probably isn't really focusing on anything that's happening around him.
Grubbs is going
That's fine.
to
That's fair.
approach Orphan and pat him on the back and just not say anything, but just let Orphan know he's there.
Yeah. Okay. Julian keeps leading you through the gardens, heading quite quickly and promptly in the direction of the gate. Farron, you're watching the 3 guards who came out after you all, and they appear to be still talking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And you see every now and then they look over in the direction of your group,
Okay.
and then they look back to Juniper. And then 2 of them head back inside. But the one remains, just keeping an eye on the child.
Okay.
And with that, Julian has you all continue on to the gates. And he ushers you outside, and you are now stood outside the grounds of the Opal Palace.
Nice.
I would have scrubbed all his toilets as my servant persona to spend one night in there.
Castles aren't that great anyway, really. Grimsby stops and looks at Orphan for a minute. Carries on. The boy has a knife, which is alarming. The evil one, the evil fucked up child. So I think we might want to be quick.
Something which supports that thought is while we were being escorted out, I have a feeling that the guards think we're connected to Juniper somehow. They kept staring at Juniper and then at us as we were leaving.
Oh.
Grimsby.
I think. Yes?
Now, I know that you have a talent for making yourself appear as somebody else. Do you think that one way to get in, perhaps, would be to impersonate Juniper himself?
How tall is Juniper, Zara?
Oh god. 1 second. He is around 4 foot tall.
I can do that. That's possible. I will be the tiniest bit taller than him, but it's possible.
You would have to impersonate a child. And it would be risky.
I've never really met a child before. What do they do?
You're asking the wrong person, Grimsby.
Grubs, you said you've had children, yes?
Yes.
What do children do? How do they act?
Well, it's a bit strange. They run around a lot. Well, it's hard to say, really. It depends on the child. I had 4, and they're all very different.
Oh my gosh. I have a small idea. In that case, we'll need to get Juniper in on it. I can't pretend to be Juniper and have Juniper also walking around the castle. How about we get Juniper out of the castle and I head in, and as much of us head in as possible in disguises and set a trap for this Leander boy, and then we try and see what he's getting up to. Could that work?
We might be able to. I don't know when we'll have the time. We'd have to do it after the cultist business.
That's true. That's very true.
Also,
It's
we
possible.
now may be expected to investigate the shipwreck.
Oh, that's fine. Do you know what I think? I think the shipwreck will be empty. We'll head over. We'll make some fake-looking powder. We'll come back. We'll say, we got it. It's all good. And then we'll leave.
Or alternatively, it could be easier to say that whoever stripped it out first has already cleared it out.
True. Yes, I would actually. Sometimes, yes. I don't know why I always try to create so elaborate lies when they don't need to be elaborate.
You know, though, it could work in our favor. Because
Mhm.
perhaps... You said it was a powder, yes?
Moonstone powder, yes.
I wonder if you could say it had some sort of, narcotic properties? And then maybe, if people are acting strangely, you could use that as a reason to try and track people down who may have quote-unquote connections to it because they've been acting out of character, and we could try to link it to this. It's very complex and very likely a stupid idea, but...
So you're suggesting we use this quote-unquote drug bust as an excuse to get the Lord's permission to stalk the people we want to stalk?
Yes.
I support it. And I believe, I don't know if this is the rules for everything, but moonstone powder, we can easily fake that. We can make a fake compound, and it's not that expensive really either. I'm pretty sure moonstone powder is just crushed rocks, but he didn't seem very smart, that kid, so we're fine.
Well, that's certainly an idea then.
All right. I like that idea. However, we should probably... I don't really want to leave this situation to go on much further, so how about our first port of call is read out the notebook and have Grubbs interpret it for us.
Yes.
Then, depending on the severity of what he's writing and see if that gleans us any information, we might want to look into getting Juniper out of the palace. If that boy's at risk, we need to get him out instantly.
I agree.
Would need a few hours to change my spells around and prepare them, so it wouldn't be a very quick process.
We have time. What time is it?
It is about 10 in the morning.
Okay.
In fact, probably closer to like 10:30.
Nice. Well, it
Well-
isn't until about 9 o'clock that we need to go and deal with the, cultists. Woo. So we've got a bit of time.
We should get something, though, out in the open first, and she looks at Orthin. I'm very sorry to hear of your father, Orthin, and I'm very sorry you've heard of it this way. But will you be all right?
Oh, yes, I knew that this would happen at some point, but I always thought I would see him again, that I would return before this happened.
It's a shame.
Get along well?
Oh, yes. No, we certainly did. In fact, it was his idea for me to come out into the world.
Oh, really?
Well,
he made some good
that's turned into
decisions.
quite the adventure. So, but like I said, I always thought I would be back. I guess time goes on.
Will you be expected to return for the,
Well, I should have asked. I should have asked when this happened. For all I know, could have already been a procession, but
Is there any sort of embassy in the city that you could maybe talk to?
Is there? Is that the type of thing
Not
that might
one-
be here?
Not one you're aware of.
I don't. Not that I know of. No.
What about those dwarves at the marketplace? They might have
And I
connections.
suppose they might have heard. It's worth a shot at any rate, I think. I think I probably should go back. I need to make sure, if not just to make sure my mother's okay and handling things all right.
Should we come with you?
Oh, you'd be welcome to. It's not actually incredibly far from here, is it?
It's pretty far. Yeah. Let me just send you a screenshot of the map.
I have a vague memory of it not being too far, but maybe have we gone further away from it?
Yes.
That'll be what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So there's the map. The dot at the top of Eben is Wyvernview. You are now at like the peninsula on the west coast of Leyland, which is spelt wrong. Ignore that, please. And then the triangle in Udros is Arkaziel.
We've gone a lot further away.
Yes.
Perhaps
It's
there's
quite far from here. We were closer a few weeks ago, but I do feel compelled to return. Perhaps after our business is concluded here. As for you coming, you'd be more than welcome. I'd make sure you were all honored guests, of course.
Perhaps we can find someone with some sort of teleportation magic in the library.
That's what I was thinking, Eurus.
Teleportation magic. Would Arthur know if there is much in the way of dwarven mages and magic at Arkaziel?
Yes, you would know that. Yes, there are.
Okay. Oh, it's that easy, is it?
I mean, it might be expensive, but we have the money now.
Well, I would gladly pay whatever the price.
As would I.
I'm afraid on another note as well that it would take, upon reflecting how long it would probably take to prepare spells, it would probably take me a good 8 hours, and I don't think we have time for that if Leander is currently sharpening knives. So we may need to find a quicker translation method. So the library may be a good place to start. I don't know.
I think the library is then where we're meant to be going. All right. Sorted then. We'll head to the library, get this translated, speak about a teleportation wizard, do a little research, get some picture books, and then we'll go and destroy some cults or something. Sorted?
Yes, and then once we've finished all that business, we will have a drink to Orthan's father.
That sounds like a very good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, you all decide to head to the library to figure out more about the contents of Leander's mysterious journal. But that will have to wait till next session, because we will end it there for this evening.
What an exciting session.
Yeah, thank you, Zara.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Zara.
Enjoyed it.
Very
I really
good
want
birthday
like a... Oh, sorry, Karen, what were you going to say? I think I interrupted someone.
Oh no, don't worry. I was just mumbling.
I was going to say, like, I really want a fortune telling from you, Zara. You're so good at that.
Well, I'm glad. It's
suppose
difficult
it
with
is-
D&D because I wanted to give like actual meaningful fortunes, but it's difficult to do that without like setting things in stone, which is difficult to do when you don't know what's going to happen from session to session.
But it is made a lot easier by being the DM who controls the whole world.
Yeah.
But also, you guys, I just don't trust you to do what you're going to.
Well, apparently no one should trust anyone in this party.
Yeah, I've got like Grimsby is low-key a snake, it seems.
He was mean to
Loki.
him. Look back,
Yeah,
he
I know.
told about it.
to Bryn, that's like, she's like, yeah, I know he's a snake, but is he an actual snake?
He's literally a snake.
He's snake in a trench coat.
He is Dendar.
Don't spoil the campaign like this, Finn.
sorry.
All my secrets. Anyway,
They're
I'm
very,
gonna.
very fun mission.
Good. I'm very glad. I'm looking forward to the next couple as well. Exciting stuff is gonna happen. That's all I'm gonna say. Some exciting stuff.
I can't wait. Yeah,
looking
I'm gonna go
forward to it.
speak my flatmates because I haven't seen them in a while.
I'm also gonna head.
I'm looking forward to going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know, that'll be fun.
Oh, poor Orphan. It's just like, yeah, sorry your dad died. And he's like, my dad died?
Well, he hasn't
So-
spoken to them in a while. He's been, busy just kind of bobbing around in Nuwen.
That's so sad.
Yeah, and Hubrid's just like.
I'm sure it won't get
This is
any
awkward.
I'm sure it won't get any more sad once we go to Arkansas.
Why would it? Why would it?
I'm sure,
I'm sure nothing wrong will ever
I'm
go
sure
happen.
Orphan has a perfect relationship with all of his family, and it will all just be roses once we get there.
Interesting.
Angst in my campaign? No. No.
Not allowed.
Don't be silly. Well, yes, I'm going to head. I hope everyone had a good time. I look forward to next time. We will arrange a day and time a little sooner. We'll be going back now, I think, to the alternating every 2 weeks. So the next one will be for a couple of weeks now, but I'm sure that'll fly by. And yeah, we'll figure out something closer to the time.
Nice.
Well, enjoy the
Well,
rest of your
soon-
birthday.
Yeah,
Yes.
enjoy
Yeah,
the
happy
rest of
birthday.
Thank you.
Have a big cake.
I will. Thank you for spending it with me, guys. You know that D&D is my favorite thing to do, so it was a nice way to spend a birthday.
Well, thank you for
Aw.
spending it with us.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, bye-bye for now, and I will talk to you guys later.
Enjoy
Bye
the rest of your
bye.
day.
To turn into Ash, you old person.
No, I'm crumbling away.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye
now.
for now.